Hey guys, this is SEO Floyd, and in this video we are going to be covering the overall strategy for the course. Now, if you are at this video and you have not watched all the other videos, then you should hit pause and then stop and go back and watch all the other videos. This video is meant to be watched after you have watched all of the other training, okay? All of the other training completely. Otherwise, if you try to apply this information, it won't work or you'll do it incorrectly. So I'm going to assume that you have watched all of the other training, and so it's not going to be a surprise to many of you who've been applying the course already that the strategy section is really not going to take that long, because what I promise to teach you is what I actually do to rank my clients. And as I told you in the introduction video, 90% of the clients that I rank will rank with just following the basic instructions that I outline in this course. So if you go through all of the training and apply everything that I've taught you, then your clients 90% of the time will end up on page 1. All right. So for those clients who do not end up on page 1, that is what this video is for. All right. So let me show you. I have a basic graphic on the screen, obviously. And I'm not great with mind mapping software, so I've just went ahead and laid mine out, and let me now explain to you kind of what you're looking at. So what we're looking at here, in the middle, you'll see the red circle with the $sign. That's going to be our money site, okay? And the orange circles and other shapes around it represent our Tier 1 properties. And Tier 1 properties are going to be anything that links directly to our money site, okay? So a Tier 1 means that if you see it on this diagram, then I'm telling you it's okay to link it directly to your money site, okay? Now, these links, for the most part, let me look here. Pretty much all of them are in the initial training, okay? So again, if you have followed my training up to this point, you should already have a Tier 1 that looks really close to what we're looking at here, okay? So let me point out a few things. So first of all, I want to point out that all the properties that are in Tier 1 are going to be very high quality, okay? They're going to be on sites that have huge domain authority, okay? And they're also 99% of the time going to be on sites that you control completely, okay? And that's very important. Now, I'm not teaching you any kind of black hat strategies to rank from Tier 1. So I will tell you that generally I don't build links that I don't control. There are a few exceptions to that rule. But let's go to the Tier 1. So you should be able to read the screen. So in the beginning sections, you should have set up your Tier 1 social accounts. So you're going to see Facebook and Twitter, right, and Google+. And so, you know, these should have been set up, your YouTube channel, okay? Again, you're going to set up Google My Business, which is here, Bing Business, which is here, Apple Maps, which is here. You're going to set up your initial, what I call the Web 2.0. I put the number 40 here because these are the URLs, the Web 2.0s that you set up in the Noam video. So when we went to Noam and we went and we registered, we used the Fiverr gig and we registered all those and we put those bare links to them. Okay, that's what this is referring to here. Okay, and then in the authority section, you would have gone out and you would have gotten things like Chamber of Commerce, okay, Better Business Bureau over here, industry links, okay, right here. And of course, in the citation section, we talk quite a bit about citations, all right? And so again, all of these things, all right, are covered in the initial training, all right? And all of these things are safe to point at your money site. Now, a few things that I did not put in the initial training yet. There are going to be job board sites. So that represents here. So places where you can put an ad for a job board for your business. Again, this is a trust factor because it's something that real businesses do. So you will want to find ones that have really good domain authority, not job boards that have been spammed to death, okay? But job boards that are good, high domain authority. all right, and post some job offers on here. You know, again, this is something that real businesses do, so you're going to want to do that. Also, in the initial training, I didn't put Craigslist. So Craigslist here represents really any of the sites kind of like Craigslist. So this could be Craigslist, this could be Backpage, this could be one of dozens, okay? Again, what we're shooting for here is high domain authority sites. And on sites like Craigslist, again, you're going to post things like you can post ads for your actual business, right, to try to get new clients, or you can post job wanted. You can be creative with this. The point is that, again, this is something that real businesses do, okay, and this is going to give you some decent backlinks. The last thing that's on the tier 1, well, image links, I am going to be adding that to the rich media citations portion. So by the time you watch this video, they should already be added. But this is going to be things like Flickr and other places where you can get image links. So this is obviously a good tier 1 for you. And then the last one, last couple are going to be infographics. These are going to be high quality infographics, okay? And we are going to be submitting them to high quality infographic sites, okay? And so you know, that's going to be, again, that's going to be good backlinks. And as long as these are high quality, and you're going to do these kind of like you're going to do the press releases, okay? It's okay to do an infographic and have some links in there, but what I want you to do is I want you to follow the same rules that we did in the press release section. So basically, your infographic is going to have no follow links that are branded or naked URLs, okay? So I don't want you making infographics that have branded anchor text, or excuse me, that have money anchor text in it or that have do follow links, okay? If it's an extremely high authority site and the infographic is really good and it's really getting shared, then a single do follow link is going to be fine, okay? A single do follow link is going to be fine, but beyond that, we want to stay away from that. All right, so that brings us to the last thing, which is going to be profiles. Okay, and this is something that we did not cover, although it's kind of covered in the authority links section. So what I'm talking about here is I'm talking about finding places that your author account, your persona account, can get profile type links. Now, I'm not talking about throwing a name into a tool like XRummer and blowing up 1,000 or billion forums. I'm talking about, you know, if you're a doctor, then you should have a profile link, you know, on various doctor sites, right? Various forums that talk about doctors, okay, and medical conditions and things like that, all right? So that's what I'm talking about there. Ones that make sense and on high domain authority sites are ones you're going to want to have, and those are okay to point directly to your money site. So those are going to be, the anchor text on those are going to be the name of the person that owns the website or runs the website, okay? So this is going to be the same author account, all right? So in my example, several of mine, I used Robert Bonner. You can use, you know, so let's say, you know, it's Dr. John Smith, okay? Then you're going to go out and you're going to find some very high quality, high domain authority sites that are absolutely related, and you can get a nice clean profile link for Dr. John Smith in there, okay? The anchor text is always going to be their name. It can be follow or no follow. It doesn't matter. But the anchor text is their name, and it's typically going to point to either the homepage or to the, you know, about us, you know, / contact page, right? It's going to be to the pages that specifically talk about, you know, John Smith, okay? All right, guys. So honestly, that's it for tier 1, okay? I know that probably some of you, especially if you're coming from other courses, you're probably scratching your head thinking that can't be it. But yep, that's going to be it, okay? There's all kinds of sneaky strategies to do different things and try to cheat Google. But honestly, you know, if you'll do just these things, again, you're going to rank 90% of your clients with the basics, and then the stuff I'm about to show you should bump you the rest of the way. Okay, so the last thing that I haven't covered yet in here, and I want to be really clear about this, is this right here, which is Web 2.0 HQ, and that means high quality, okay? And so I want to be really, really specific about this. I am not talking about building Web 2.0s with a tool like Build My Rank or RankWise or FCS Networker. I'm talking about hand-built, high-quality Web 2.0s, okay? So I'm talking about sites with very high domain authority like WordPress, like Blogger, okay? Those types of pages. So these are fine to use as tier 1 properties okay, as long as they are high quality. And high quality means that they have a unique, original, well-written article or two or three. They have some rich media in there. There's some videos. There's some images, okay? And, basically, like, if you were to go to this page, you would like it. Like, there's some type of value to this page. So a good way to set these up as tier 1s is they can either be topical, like general. So, so again, let's say that our money site is a plastic surgeon, okay? Then some good typical high quality Web 2.0s could be, you could have a very high quality Web 2.0, let's say a Tumblr blog about, nose jobs, right? And all it talks about is nose jobs, okay? And that Tumblr blog that's very high quality that talks about nose jobs, rhinoplasty, would point to the homepage of the website, your money site, and it would point to the rhinoplasty page or the nose job page, okay? So that is an example of kind of how to do that. I want to be, crystal clear here. I do not mean automated tool Web 2.0s on tier 1, okay? I don't do it. I don't teach it. It's dangerous, all right? So you'll see that I have some links built out here to the side, okay, some blues. So these blues are going to be some of my tier 2 links, okay? And let me explain these real quickly to you. So outside on my tier 2 are typically going to be my PBN links, okay? Now, I know that a lot of people teach PBN as tier 1, and let me be clear. If you have a very high quality PBN, I'm talking about one that would pass a manual review, that has really good stats and is getting, has real traffic going to it, has social signals, it's basically a real site, then you can absolutely move this baby into tier 1, okay? So again, super high quality, basically a bulletproof PBN, one that meets all the requirements of my PBN setup. You absolutely can use it as tier 1, okay? But many of you already have PBNs that have been set up really crappily. I mean, I hate to use, whatever language, but they haven't been set up very well, and or you don't want to take the time and energy to turn them into good sites, or maybe they don't have the best metrics, okay? So maybe you bought some domains, when you were starting off and you didn't really know what you were doing, okay? So that's where I'm talking about tier 2s, all right? So these tier 2s here, these can be used anywhere on this tier 2, okay? They can be used anywhere on this to bump up any of these tier 1s, okay? So throw them in wherever you would like, all right? Web 2.0 RW, and that stands for Rank Whiz, but it could also be FCS Networker, okay? So these are going to be auto-generated Web 2.0s, all right? So this is going to be your bulk Rank Whiz and FCS and that kind of stuff. Okay, these are also fairly safe to use as tier 2, but again, I'm going to have one requirement, and that is that you have unique content on them. Okay, so that's going to kill it for a lot of the ones that you already have probably. Okay, so this is not auto-generated or crappy spun content. Okay, it's going to be unique content. Now, if you're using Rank Whiz, you can upload articles to it. You can get, some good articles written fairly cheaply on like iWriter. And so for this, these are going to be, so let's say for this, you can use a super good spin on this, all right, but only a very few times, okay? So let's say that you start off with a very high quality article of like 1,000 words, okay? You can do a very good spin like Spin Rewriter, okay, on its highest setting, and pull maybe 5 articles out of that spin, okay? You want to visually inspect it and visually edit it to make sure that all of it looks right and sounds right. And again, these want to be very similar to the Web 2.0s we're doing on tier 1. We want to have, nice images and things like that, all right? And so these, again, this is just a power-up kind of a deal, okay? Out to the end here, you see blog comments. Now, I should have mentioned this a minute ago, so I apologize. I should have mentioned this when I was talking about profile links. When we're doing the profile links here, so again, let's say that we have a profile link on, doctorsintheusa.com, okay, and it's for Dr. Smith, right? And this hits right here, okay? Then a really good way to power up these profile links is to get some high-quality blog comments, okay? Now, here's the thing. These high-quality blog comments here, these can actually be money anchors going to this doctor, or they can be generic. They can be whatever you want, but it actually could, safely use money anchors here going to this if you choose to. So you can use, you can buy services that sell high-quality blog comments, or you can use something like dropmylink.com, which will allow you to find some good places for that, okay? But specifically, the only place I'm really wanting you to use blog comments is going to be right here on this section, okay? So again, sorry, I kind of digressed off my chart here. All right, let me get back to the next thing. All right, so on here you see GSA money and you see GSA generic / brand, okay? And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's a Google search engine ranker. GSA is a piece of software that we use, a lot of us use. And it's a very good tool to use, but it's normally used improperly. So we do have a section in the training that goes over how to use this. I'll tell you that I do use this very little, but it is very helpful for specific things. Okay, so there's two ways that you can use this, that you can use GSA links. So one way is, first of all, I don't ever use GSA to the money site directly, okay? Ever. I never use it directly. You can if you're really good with it, but that's not what I'm teaching in this course. So if you're an advanced GSA user, then you can just ignore what I'm saying now. You probably know how to do this, but most people listening to this are not going to be at that level. So you're going to use GSA to power up your tier 1s and your tier 2s. Most of the time, you're going to go to your tier 2s, okay? The reason why is because if you go GSA, if you put GSA on tier 3, okay, meaning that it goes through a tier 2, like these Web 2.0s or your PBN or blog comments, then that means it's 1, 2, 3 basically hops away from your money site, okay, which is what you want, okay? You don't want anything really spammy, within 2 links, okay? Even within 3 is going to be a little risky. But again, this is, advanced strategy here. And so, if you do this GSA incorrectly to one of these properties, then you're going to have to turn it off. So if we're doing GSA, we're going to want to do it to sites that if we need to turn off, it's not going to be that big of a deal. So meaning that, we could do it to our Web 2.0s. We could do it to our high-quality Web 2.0s. We could do it to specific Craigslist, ads, obviously. We can do it to, profile links. We can do it to infographics. We can do it to specific videos. We can do it to all these places that we control and we can turn off and on, at will, okay? If you want to use it directly to the other sites, you can, but I want you to understand that you run a risk, okay? If you send GSA directly to, your Google My Business page, you could kill that page, all right? You could kill your Facebook page. You could kill your Twitter page, okay? It's not likely, but it's possible. So again, I want you to be aware. I'm telling you most of the time, you're going to run it through, like a Web 2.0, okay? And let me tell you, here's kind of the rule that you want to follow with this, okay? The GSA money. So this is GSA if you're using money links. So let's say that you're doing GSA directly to your Facebook page, which has an anchor text link that's do follow going directly to your money page. Okay. So for this, argument's sake, this Facebook link is a do follow to your money page. If this is a do follow link to the money page, then I'm only going to send GSA non-money links, okay, and or no follow links to this page, okay? All right, because this is a do follow link, okay? So let's just say we're going to use GSA. Let's say that we are at, let's say we're at let's say we have an image here. And this image has a no follow link that's going directly to the money site that's non-anchor text. And non-anchor text, no follow link. Then we're very comfortable using GSA with money anchor text to it. Okay? So this could be, best doctor in Dallas or whatever, going directly to this. Okay? So basically the rule of thumb is this. If the link that GSA is pointing to is follow, and it is money, then you're going to not want to GSA that link. Okay. So if you have a page, if you have a tier 1 property and it has a do follow link going directly to your money site, you're going to not want to use GSA on that. Okay. Now let's say that you have a no follow link on a high authority site. So like, again, let's say your Google My Business. This just has a naked URL. Okay. If this is a naked URL and it's a no follow, well, I'm sorry, let's use YouTube. Okay, let's use YouTube. Okay, YouTube is all no follow links. Okay, so we have a no follow branded or generic anchor text link going directly to the money site. You can absolutely kill this with GSA. Okay, you can hit this with money anchors, with follow, no follow, generic brand, whatever you want to do. Okay, think of it like this: the no follow actually acts as a buffer for you. Okay, so whenever one of these is no follow, then it means that you're going to be able to use GSA on it. But if it's a no follow anchor, you're going to want to consider that. If it's an anchor text, even if it's no follow, you're going to want to consider that. Okay, so you can use GSA again as a tier 2 if you want. So it would be like GSA directly to Facebook and Facebook directly to money. But I suggest that you make it a tier 3. So again, that it goes through another buffer. Another way to do this that works really well, let's say that we take a Web 2.0 that's high quality. Let's say we have Wix. Okay, let's say we have a Wix or a Webs or Weebly or whatever. Okay, we have one of these sites that allows us to build out our own kind of site on theirs on a subdomain, right? What we can do is this. You can build out, so let's say you have a Wix page, okay, and you have the home page on your Wix page, and then you build out like, say a services page on that, okay, so it's an inner page, not the home page on your Web 2.0, your Wix. Then what you can do is you can put an anchor text link on the inner page, okay, and then put a follow link on the home page of the Wix, okay, and then blast the home page of the Wix with GSA, okay, and so what that's going to do is, the GSA is going to go to the home page, which the home page then is going to feed a link juice into the inner page, okay, and the inner page is then going to go to one of your inner pages on your site, okay, so again, that's kind of filtering it through. So the domain authority of the site like Wix on the home page is going to, some of that juice is gonna help filter it through to that inner page, which then that inner page is going to go to the money site. So again, I didn't plan on this being an exhaustive discussion on GSA, and we may go into it more later. But that's it for the strategy section. Again, not to beat a dead horse, but if you only do the orange links here, okay, if that's all that you've done, you are going to rank the vast majority of your clients, okay? I'm just telling you, I've done this for 10 years. I've been doing this for 10 years, and it works, okay? So in one of the next videos, I'm going to go over kind of the steps of how I do everything in kind of what order. And there's going to be a point where you're going to do a certain amount of things, and then you're going to wait. Okay, and after a period of time, then you're going to evaluate your rankings. Then, if you're not where you need to be, that's where you're going to want to start looking at some of these tier 2 and tier 3 options. Okay, so that's it for this strategy video, and I will see you in the next training. Hey guys, this is SEO Floyd, and in this video I'm going to go over the most common silo structure and linking structure that I do for my local clients. So this is going to be most of the clients that you're going to be trying to rank in this course. So it's going to be your local plumber, your local roofer, your own SEO, city business, etc. All right. So for this example, what I'm doing is I'm sticking with our roofing example. So it's a roofing company that is in the Dallas area. All right, and so a couple things I want you to notice here. So what I've got laid out is, so I have the home page, and directly linking out of the home page, I have a services page, I have an about us, a contact us, an area served, and then a terms and conditions, privacy policy, etc., etc. Okay, you don't have to have these exact titles. Okay, and you know, area served could be locations. Okay, it could be something else, right? This could be services offered. Okay, there could be different ways that you name this, but what's important is that you understand how I do my linking, and that's because it's very important. This is one of the key reasons why you're going to avoid a lot of penalties that a lot of other people are going to get. Because of the linking that I'm teaching you. All right, so this is the basic structure. So again, we're going with the example of a roofing company in Dallas, okay? So I have a category, I have basically two silos here, okay? So one of them is the services silo, okay? And so this is going to be like the services page, and then the services they offer, for this example, I'm going to use residential and commercial as the two main services they offer as part of being roofers, okay? And then for the areas served, I've got some cities, okay? So Dallas, Plano, Frisco, these are all cities that are in the North Texas area. So if this was a North Texas roofer and they were targeting these cities, this is what it would look like. In fact, this is exactly what they look like. This is exactly how I build my sites. So, so what this will look like is, you know, domain.com /areas served /Dallas, okay, /Plano /Frisco, right? And so, you know, let's say that this was, you know, that the example I've been using, let's say it was elevatedroofing.com, okay? So it'd be elevatedroofing.com /areas served, and then /Dallas, okay, /Plano /Frisco, okay? Now, you can use the title in there if you want to. You can add, it could be, you know, Dallas Roofing or Dallas Roofers, et cetera, okay? If the domain name is not branded with your money words, then you definitely would. So let's say that it was, you know, abcinternational.com, right? Let's say it was abcdallas.com, okay? Or just abc.com, all right? So if it was abc.com was the name of this roofing company, then you would want to do abc.com /areas served /Dallas roofing /Plano roofing /Frisco roofing, okay? So we just don't want to over optimize. I know that in some courses you've seen some of those silly looking URLs. Just ignore those, okay? They don't convert any better than what this does. This is exactly what Google wants. If you go through Google Webmaster Tools training and go through their guidelines, what they want is a very simple site structure which is logical to them. So if you were to go to this site, if you were a customer and you were to just land on this site, then, you know, if you see the area served, it makes sense that underneath that would be the locations, right? Just like if you went to the services, underneath that would be the different things that you sell, right? So if this is a services company, but if it was a products company, you know, it would be organized a little bit differently, but the basic concept is the same. So what Google likes to see, Googlebot specifically, is it likes to see a site structure that is logically ordered the way that it wants it to be logically ordered, okay? So if this is a services company, what it likes to see typically is that serves an area, it typically is going to be domain /areas /specific area. So like I've set up. So domain /areas served /specific city. Now if this was a product website, then it would be a little bit different. What it would like to see is category and then product. So if you think about big sites that sell products online, then what it wants to see is, you know, walmart.com /electronics /televisions. Right. Now, of course, we're talking about Walmart, so the chain would be a lot longer. And I know that you know that, right? But I'm talking about, you know, a small business, not Walmart. So if it was a small business, you know, that say they were a local flower shop, okay, then it may be, you know, domain.com /flowers, right, /roses, right, something like that, okay? But anyway, I'm sorry, I don't want to get off track for this specific example. So it's very important that you see what my structure is. So your standard silos as we, you know, describe them. So let's just say that we got here to this area served, okay? So we're at the home page, we go to area served. Now, the only thing on this area served page really is, you know, some text and links specifically to these three places, okay? So if you were, so this page has no standard navigation on it. Okay, it can, but they all need to be no followed. Okay, so in other words, if I were to look at your outbound links on your area served page, there should be 3: Dallas, Plano, Frisco. Okay, I'm hoping that makes sense to you. Now there's different ways to silo these, but I'm going to do these, instead of doing them all down, I'm going to do them kind of one at a time. So anyway, so areas served, and then if I get to this Dallas page, when I open the Dallas page, then the Dallas page really, the only place that it's really going to go is going to be back to the area served page and to the Plano page, right? And to services page, right? So anyway, the way that these are structured, that's going to vary a little bit by how you want to do it. So anyway, let's just keep it simple. Let's do this. So we're going to go areas served. We're going to go straight down. The area served is only going to have links to these 3 cities. These 3 cities are only going to have links back to services, okay? So you can order, okay? So if you get to Plano page, the Plano page is only going to go back to the services page, okay? I'm sorry, and also back to the area served page, okay? So I'm not good with drawing the little arrows, but if I did, then area served would go down to this little arrow. This little arrow here would go down to, would go back to area served, and it would go to services, okay? Now the other way that you can do this is to have them go straight down. So the Dallas page would link to the Plano page would link to the Frisco page, and then it would go back to the area served page or back to the home page, okay? There's different ways to do it. Neither one I don't think is going to really make a huge difference for what I'm showing you, especially when you see the next stuff, okay, which is really the important part, okay? But I want to make sure that you understand. One thing is that, these are, silo pages. So, right, there's going to be the area served, and then these pages are underneath, okay? So if you went to these, the URL for this would look like domain.com/areaserved/Dallas/Plano/Frisco, okay? All right. Now over here, what I have is I have my category or my service silo. And so the same kind of thing. So for this, I've just made it easy, residential and commercial, okay? So the services, and one thing on it, it's going to have some text, and it's going to talk about a little bit about residential with the link to here, a little bit about commercial with the link to here, okay? And then these both link back to the services page, okay? These are a little bit easier. So these are going to link just back to services, okay? All right, so let me show you here. This is where the important part comes in. Hopefully you kind of are already doing this siloing. It's a very basic silo, but for local it works really well. Again, this is exactly what I do. So I know it works well because I rank all my clients. So anyway, all right, so let me show you here something that you aren't doing probably. Something that I do that really powers this up for me. Okay, so I have my standard silos here. Now I'm going to add the first silo I'm going to add is going to be location relevant silo, okay? So I'm going to build out anywhere from 3 to 5 pages, okay, that have to do with the city I'm trying to rank, all right? So as an example, don't do exactly what I'm doing here. You don't need to do this exact thing, okay? But I may have a page about Dallas history. I may have a page about Dallas sports. I may have a page about Dallas restaurants, Dallas entertainment, Dallas city government, Dallas museums, Dallas art, Dallas, right? It could be anything, okay? But I'm going to have about 3 to 5 articles, okay? Now the key to this, I want to make sure you understand this. These are not part of menu navigation, okay? So you can't find these anywhere in navigation, right? There's not like a link to them, okay? Because these are pages really that are for SEO and they're not for your client. So you really don't want them to end up on there. Although we are using only original content on our customer site, so if they did, it'd be okay. But I don't want you to spend $100 on these articles, okay? So this is like a $5, maybe $6 iWriter article for each one of these, okay? So maybe $20 for the writing on this, all right? So do 300 to 500 words, have them throw a nice image in there or 2, okay? Not a big deal, all right? So, and now you see here I'm targeting 3 cities. So if I was going to do this, then I would have, to use this example, I would have 9 pages, right? So I'd have 3 pages for Dallas, 3 pages for Plano, 3 pages for Frisco, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to then link the Dallas pages to Dallas, the Plano pages to Plano, and the Frisco pages to Frisco, okay? What I'm doing is I am giving this Dallas page a ton of relevancy, location relevancy for the city of Dallas, okay? because this page on my site, it's named Dallas, and of course it talks about Dallas, right? But it also talks about, it also has these articles in my site, okay, talking about, and these link back to them, you know, with keyword anchor text, right? So when these link back to this, they link back with the keyword Dallas, okay? City of Dallas, okay? It can be some variations, but it has to, you want to have the city name in it, right? And that's the only place. So this article right here, it only links to Dallas. This only links to Dallas. This only links to Dallas, okay? So now we're up to 9 articles, right? All right, but what we've done is with our internal linking, we have increased our site's relevancy for these 3 keywords. And if you remember the website, if you remember in Google Webmaster Tools when I showed you how to look in the content portion where it tells you what it thinks your website is about, this is going to help with this a ton, okay? Because in this Dallas history, what are you going to have? You're going to have a bunch of things, terms related to Dallas. Sports, right? You're going to have the Stars. You're going to have the Mavericks. You're going to have the Cowboys, right? All these things are LSI, or latent semantic index. They're relevant, hummingbird, right? Keywords for Dallas, okay? So they're going to really power up this Dallas page just with internal linking, okay? All right, now, I'm going to go back over here now, and this is another silo, but this is my niche silo, okay? And my niche silo is going to have things related to what I'm selling. So roofing, right? Roof installations, roof repair, shingles, nails, right? I don't know a lot about roofing, but, you know, I'm sure that there's probably, you know, several dozen different keywords. Aluminum roof, you know, wood roof, slant roof, tile, you know, all these different things, right, about roofing that you can put up there. And again, this is a standalone silo that's not part of standard, that was a typo, navigation, okay? So, and these, all right, these are going to point, now for this example, I'm trying to rank these city pages here, okay? I want to rank for Dallas roofing, Plano roofing, Frisco roofing, okay? So in this example, I am going to push these articles right here, again, to my city pages, okay? So now let's just take Dallas as an example. I've pushed city relevance or location relevance to my Dallas page, okay? I've pushed niche relevance, all right, to my Dallas page. So now Google thinks that this Dallas page here is about Dallas and it's about roofing or roofs, okay, which is what we want. That's how this Dallas roofing page is going to rank, okay? And we're going to do the same thing for Plano and the same thing for Frisco, all right? So I hope that this makes sense to you. Now, the way that this will look again is these silos are just straight off the home domain, right, as far as the navigation, but they don't appear in the menu, right? They're not part of the navigation. So as far as the URL structure, it's just straight shingles, roofs, roof repair, right? Okay? So I hope that you're getting what I'm saying here. So what I've done with internal linking is I've made this Dallas page relevant for both roofing and Dallas. Okay? All right. So now the last quick thing on this, because I get this question asked a lot, and I go over it a little bit in the GSA, but I wasn't specific about how this relates to the overall strategy. So, all right. So again, I want you to understand that what I'm teaching you is what I do, and what I do works for me. I've never been able to not rank a client. Okay, that was a double negative. I always rank my clients. I have never failed to rank a client. Okay, using the exact same techniques that I'm teaching you here. However, different niches can be different, and things can change. So you may have to modify what I'm doing a little bit. Okay, so don't think of it like these are rules, like if you break them that the universe will end. Okay. But I would tell you that generally, I would do pretty close to what I'm asking you to do whenever possible, because I have tested these things literally to death, okay? And a lot of things I'm not telling you what I'm doing. I'm giving you advice, but I'm not telling you why. So in general, try to do what I'm doing, but don't beat yourself up if I tell you to make 3 articles here. You don't have to use Dallas history, sports, and restaurants. Use whatever articles you want to have to do with Dallas, okay? So don't go crazy. But anyway, let me show you this last thing. All right. So all we've talked about so far is internal linking. Okay. Now I want to talk about the external linking. Okay. And this is, I'm talking about, links that you control. Okay. So I'm talking about you've already done all the things, because again, you shouldn't be watching this unless you've watched the whole course. You've already built all the properties up that I've told you to build, okay? So this is the end. This is not the beginning, okay? So now you are at the point and you have not ranked, okay? So I should have said that at the beginning of this training. I apologize. This video is meant for if you have done everything that I've trained you so far and you've waited, 4 to 6 weeks, okay, and you're still not where you want to be, all right? This is what this training is for, okay? Most of the time, you don't have to build out all these extra stuff, okay? If it's competitive, you want to just go ahead and do it anyway, right? Because you know you're going to need to. But if it's a local keyword that's not got a lot of traffic, a lot of competition, typically, this video you won't even need to look at, okay? So again, I apologize. I should have said in the beginning, this is for after you've already done the basics and, you haven't ended up where you want to be, okay? Say you're on page 2, or maybe you're even on page 1, but you're at the bottom and you want to move up, okay? All right, so here we go. Last thing. All right, so to the home page here, I am sending brand and naked anchor links, okay? That's it. That's all I'm sending to my home page here. So if this was, again, using my example, if it was elevatedroofing.com, I would send links that say elevated roofing, elevatedroofing.com, www.elevatedroofing.com, elevated roofing company, all these things, just brand and naked anchors, http://www.elevatedroofing.com, okay? And there's 8 variations of a naked anchor, okay? So use all of them. So, a variation meaning, there's http://domain.com, then there's just domain.com, then there's www.domain.com, right? If you go through, there's 8 variations of a naked anchor. And then you can also use capitalization to make it infinitely more. But that's all I'm sending to the homepage, okay? All right, now, this is very important, so please pay attention to this part. The areas served page, right here, okay? I'm sending location anchors to this one, okay? So to this area served page, I'm sending all the North Texas links, okay? So as I'm going through, and I didn't make it with my initial set of links, let's just say, they weren't powerful enough to get me where I wanted to go, then if I find some nice location links that are relevant for North Texas that I can get, let's say I sponsor a charity and I get a link, a nice link from a local Dallas charity, that would be a good link that I could send to this area served, okay? So again, area served is location anchors, okay? All right, services over here in this, okay? This is where we're going to send our niche anchors, okay? This is where we're going to send our niche anchors to. So these are going to be anchors about roof and roofing, okay? So, let's say that we find, again, this is phase 2 and hasn't worked. Let's say we decide to buy a subscription link in a roofing directory, okay? Then we could point it to the services page here, okay? And so, again, niche anchors. Now, I'm pretty sure I said earlier, but in case I didn't, this services is linking to these pages, right? Okay, these are all going through too, okay? Services are going through, okay? So, again, I'm not good with the arrows here, but that's why we're sending the niche anchors here, okay? We're sending the niche to the services, which are going to bleed over to the city pages. And we're sending the location anchors to the area served, which automatically bleeds down because it's part of that silo, okay? All right, and then the last one that I want you to go through is going to be the city pages themselves. Okay, now, a lot of people, one of my, my claim to fame is that I've never had a site penalized, okay? I've had customers who come to me with penalized sites. So I actually know quite a bit about how to recover penalized sites. But I personally have never had a site get penalized intentionally. I mean, unintentionally, I do for testing. But I've never had a site that I wanted to rank that got penalized, okay? And the reason why, one of the main reasons why, is because of the way that I do my links, okay? Also, of course, as you guys probably know, I'm a nut about PBNs, about keeping them safe. So, all right, so the city pages. I'm only going to send maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 links to this page on average, okay? And they're super high quality links, okay? I'm going to send some of my best links to this page here, okay? So let's say that I paid for a Chamber of Commerce link in the Dallas Chamber of Commerce, okay? Now, in the initial setup, I didn't tell you where to point those links to. initially, and of course you can always go back and change that, but that's a good example of a link you're safe pointing right here, okay? That's going to be a high domain authority link, usually with PageRank, usually get some juice, okay? That can go here, okay? Now let me tell you why it's so important. Penguin is getting more, Google Penguin penalty gets more people than any of the other algorithms or any of the other penalties lately, okay? And Penguin is mostly, of course it's not completely, but it's mostly about backlinks, okay? And so you can pretty much 100% avoid Penguin if you do what I'm telling you here, because the only pages that you care about ranking are these city pages, okay? All right, and the only thing we're sending to these city pages, right? The only external links we're sending are what? Super high quality, maybe 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so it's pretty much impossible, you know, to send, you know, 3 or 4 high quality, you know, real legit links here and come up with a Penguin penalty. You're not going to get a Penguin penalty for having a Chamber of Commerce link. Okay, it's just not going to happen, right? The reason why people get penalized is because if they're trying to rank this Dallas page, then what are they doing? They're sending a bucket load of PBN links, you know, to this page, right? Or a bucket load of, you know, GSA links or whatever their favorite, you know, the 301ing domains, you know, whatever their favorite little flavor of the minute is, okay? They're doing all these little fun, nasty little things, and, you know, they like playing the little games, right? And what happens is, you know, most of the time they get caught, okay? Most of the time they get caught, they get spanked, all right? So what I'm doing here is the power that's going to this page that's actually ranking it is from the internal linking, okay? It's the internal linking that's doing it, all right? So let me show you the last little thing here. So brand and anchor links that come into the home page, okay, sift down into the areas served and they hit Dallas, right? They sift down into the services and they hit Dallas, right? Okay, so those come directly in. Any links we send to areas served, right, sift in and hit Dallas. Any links we send to service, sift in and hit Dallas, okay? All right, and we've already talked about the links, specific links. We just talked about the ones to build here. Don't forget, though, you get these suckers over here, too. All right? So I can build links to these Dallas history, Dallas sports, Dallas restaurants, right? I can build links to these pages. Now, what would happen if this page got penalized? I mean, I'm not going to teach you to do anything crazy, but just for argument's sake, let's say that, you know, you went kind of overboard on this. Then you kill it, right? That page is dead. It's gone. It no longer exists, okay? And then if you just happen to get a penalty, which again, you shouldn't if you're following my training, but let's say that you buy somebody else's course and they teach you some cool black hat techniques, you know, that'll rank you in 10 minutes, right? And so you decide to do something stupid on this page. Well, if you do get it killed, then it's no big deal, right? You just move on, you create a new one, and you link it back, right? So we're still good, okay? But what you do want to do, you can build high quality links, you know, to these articles here. And by high quality, I mean, you know, they don't have to be, you know, the same kind of links we're talking about, like, you know, Chamber of Commerce links, but like you can build out, you know, Web 2.0s that have good, you know, quality content on them, right? Some high quality, you know, Web 2.0 sites, you know, you can use that. You could put articles on and put links back to these. Those are perfectly fine, okay? And then off of that, then you can get a little tricky if you want to get a little bit tricky, okay? So we're talking a little bit about, you know, this is kind of phase 2 stuff, right? So the first stuff didn't work. So let's just say for argument's sake here, so Dallas, if this Dallas history page points directly to this, then this is a tier 1 link, right? If this page links directly to this, then this is a tier 1 page here. Then what I can do here is, let's say that, and I'm sorry guys, I'm running out of room. Okay, let's say that this is a Wix page, okay? All right, let's say you have a Wix site set up here, okay? And your Wix is pointing to this page, okay? So then that makes Wix a tier 2, okay? So then you can come out here. And again, guys, sorry I'm running out of room here. you can do GSA. All right. So let me move these a little bit just so it makes a little bit more sense. All right. So don't forget that I'm moving these. All right. But just to show you what this would look like. Okay. Again, I don't know how to do the little squiggly arrows. I probably should learn. Okay. But if we do this, then that means we're putting GSA on tier 3. Okay. This is tier 1. This is tier 2. This is tier 3. Okay. And this is going to be fine. Now, again, we're not going to go crazy and blast this Wix with 8 billion links. Okay. You also, again, this Wix, remember, I'm not telling you to use Wix. I'm telling you, this is a high quality 2.0 property, right? It could be anything. It could be a blog spot. It could be a Tumblr, right? It doesn't matter, okay? But what I'm showing you is that, you're putting GSA 3 tiers away from this page you're wanting to rank, which is fairly safe normally, okay? And in the GSA training, we go over that. And then actually in the tier 1 training, I go over this a little bit as well, okay? All right, guys, so that's going to be it for this training. I hope that this was all clear. I will probably go ahead and do another training video if it's like a product or service. A product, I'm sorry. If they sell products, so you can see what that looks like. Now, a lot of you have asked about the ranking for your city in the SEO term, like Dallas SEO, for example, in my city. This is the site structure that I use for that, okay? This is exactly what I use for pretty much all my local clients, okay, with very few exceptions. So, this would be the exact same thing here, okay? It's just under here, right? Under services, it could be search engine optimization, social media marketing, reputation management, right? Instead of these. And then over here, what? You've got 8 billion different ways to articles and things that are related to search engine marketing and online marketing and, right? All these millions of silos hit back here. And then, of course, the city part stays the same, okay? City part stays the same. All right. So again, I hope that that is clear. And as usual, I thank you for your time and attention. And I look forward to answering your questions and talking with you guys in the forum. Thanks. Bye. Hey guys, this is SEO Floyd, and I would like to welcome you to the strategy section of the course. Now, as I have mentioned numerous times in the course, if you will follow just the basic outline of what I've already taught, you should be able to get the vast majority of your local sites onto page 1. All right, so this section is really just to expand a little bit upon some of the earlier training and some strategies to follow when you are not on page 1. You will not want to watch these videos until you've been through the entire course. Again, let me reiterate, you do not want to use these videos until you have been through the entire course, okay? So just again, a brief overview. I'm going to have a video that talks about the my foundational linking strategy. And kind of what that looks like. I'm also going to have some information about how to use private blog network sites. That information is coming from a course called Source Phoenix by a really great guy named Alex Becker, which many of you are probably familiar with. I was a coach and content provider for that course, and so I am putting it in this course. So when you log in and you watch that section of the course, you'll notice that I'm talking about Source Phoenix. But don't worry, I didn't steal anything. It's my content, and I'm, of course, allowed to use it in my own training. So that shall set you, give you the information that you need to set your PBNs up safely and powerfully. And then I'm going to have some training that's done by a very good friend of mine named Jason Peterson. Any of you that are in my private coaching will be familiar with Jason. He does GSA for a lot of you guys, and so he has put together some really good GSA training for us in this section. And so I will be adding things to this, obviously, as the course goes along, but as of launch, that's pretty much what we're going to have here, guys. So we're going to have my foundational links, we're going to have some PBN stuff, and then we're going to have some GSA stuff. All right? So I hope you have enjoyed the training thus far, and I look forward to talking to you and seeing you in the next video. Thanks.
Thank you everyone for attending my video series on GSA training. I am very excited to be a part of this team and be able to provide this training for you. And I hope that you find what you learn in this video series to be valuable, because I know your time is valuable. So let's just dive right into it. The point of this video series is to teach you GSA, not to make you the all-encompassing expert, but to get you comfortable enough that you can start immediately building your own campaign and being confident that you're doing it right. So here we are. The screen that you're seeing right now is my dedicated server. Just a quick little note that some SEO VPNs or VPSs may not allow you to run GSA on them because they are so system intensive that they will bog down your account and everyone else's account that's on that server. So they may ask you to upgrade to a dedicated server, which was my case as of a couple months ago. I will not do any recommendations as far as companies in these videos. The information is out there. All you have to do is Google it. Go to our Facebook groups, anywhere you want, there's that information, but you will not get it here in the video. So let's dive into it. I've got GSA open, and let's look at the different elements of the screen so you know what everything is. First of all, over here in the left upper corner, this is your project window. This is where we organize, build, and track the progress of all your projects. It's a great way to also organize it by client, by project, by niche, I don't know, but you can organize it through this system, and it's a great way to do it through this screen. Over here to our right, this area is where we control the settings, building new campaigns, and this lower section, this is giving you what's going on second by second. It's going to give you a list of all the links that were submitted. You can check on them and see what's going on. This lower half of the screen, this is basically a log of everything that GSA is doing. It's going to throw up so many messages at you that you're not going to be able to keep up with it. But it does color code them so that you know when to look for certain colors and certain messages that'll indicate, hey, something's wrong here. I've got to fix it. I've got to address it. So let's get right into it. You understand the structure of the software. Click on this button right up here in the top right hand corner called Options, and let's dive into the general settings. Take a screenshot of this, capture this. This is what I use. Use it as a starting point or a benchmark for your GSA campaign. And then build from it. Find out what works for you, what doesn't work, and then but starting off, I'm going to skip ahead right now. Let's go into proxies. So let's click right here and configure our proxies. Now, I'm going to recommend that you do take the investment, the initial investment, and set up good quality dedicated proxies for your GSA account. So I understand that they are a little bit pricey, but you're going to get a lot better results if you go with quality proxies. So what I want you to do is, once you purchase your proxy and they've emailed them to you in the correct format, and when I say format, this is what I'm looking for. You've got two different options of ways to import your proxies into GSA. The first is in the format of login:password at host:/port, or the most common way that I've seen is host, port, login, password, all separated by a colon. I've actually got mine copied onto my clipboard, so if I click this, it should throw them in here. Perfect. 70 proxies. I pay for 60, so I imagine they're not all going to work, so let's test this and figure out what's going to work and what's not. Okay, I finished testing my proxies. I've got 64 out of the 70 working. So we are going to hit OK and move on. Let's go back into the options and let's start talking about the threads. Threads are how many processes that SDR is going to be running simultaneously. And the magic number that I would recommend is, if you're using, that's a big if you're using quality proxies, then you can typically use 10 threads per proxy as a starting point. So in my case, I've got 64 proxies. So 640 threads is what I'm going to start with, and then work my way down or up based upon my links per minute and CPU usage. I want you to look at the next setting is the HTML timeout, and you'll find it right here. I'd recommend a setting between anywhere from 120 to 180 seconds, so 2 to 3 minute timeout. And what this is the amount of time in seconds that GSA SCR will keep a thread open while waiting for the website to be verified. So the lower this is, so if I switch this down to 2 minutes, you're going to get a lot higher links per minute. But your verified links per minute will drop significantly. If a site takes longer than 2 minutes to provide GSA that verification, after 2 minutes, GSA gives up and says, forget you, I'm done waiting. But if we go up to a higher HTML thread or timeout, you'll get less links per minute because GSA is focusing more on the verified, but your verified links will increase. And that's what we're after. Links per minute is great, but it all comes down to how many verified links per minute can we generate. Next is the custom time to wait between search queries. By default, I believe it's 60 seconds, but I want you to start your campaign off at 30 seconds and then slowly work your way down to maybe a minimum of 10. If you've got a super fast VPS or dedicated server, then push it down to 5. But here's a warning. I am not responsible if you blow the hell out of your proxies, but if you go too fast between the waits, you're going to burn out your proxies and lose them and risk your actual IP, your host being blacklisted. So be very careful. Start it off at 30 seconds and slowly work your way down. But so you understand what the custom time to wait between search queries is the amount of time in seconds that SCR will wait before it uses a proxy to access Google for scraping. The next thing I want to look at is your CAPTCHAs. Now, you're looking at my screen. I've got this one called Eve. I've got this one called Death by CAPTCHA. These are not mine. These are something that came with basically my account with my dedicated server. I don't know if they work. I'm not going to vouch for them. But what I do want to talk about is Death by CAPTCHA because it does work really well. So I would invest in that, focus on it. I'm going to turn off the use only if PR. I don't need that filter. I want it anytime a site that makes it through my filter on my campaigns, I'm going to use CAPTCHA Breaker on it. As far as retries goes, depends on how you're using GSA. Now, if you're using GSA to scrape for links, you're going to want to set this down to 0. You know, you got one chance to get it right, then I'm moving on. Just because you don't know the quality, you're going through thousands and thousands and thousands of links. Don't waste your time and resources on retrying CAPTCHAs. But if you have actually a verified or you purchased a list to go off of, set this to 3 because you don't want to be throwing away good URLs if you don't need to. So now let's look at indexing. Indexing, what can I say? The very first part of this screen deals with the built-in GSA indexer. It's a ping service. As a lot of you may know, pinging is not the best way to index a site these days. There are better ways to do it. So I turned mine off, but I turned it off because I've invested in an account with indexification and also Instant Link Indexer. These are both very good services. They will cost you extra each month, but you'll have a better rate of success on getting your links indexed if you use these two, or just one, doesn't matter, for your indexing. Now, if you're on a tight budget and you don't want to spend the money, definitely turn this on. Use it. It's free. It's not going to hurt. But what it will do is take up resources and threads from your system. So be aware of that. Let's go down to filter. Filter is pretty self-explanatory, the first half. These are sites that GSA is aware of, that if you post on them, you're basically guaranteed to be blacklisted from Google. So if you know of any, add it, share it with the group. I would love to know if you have any. But turn this on, select all the sites that it has, and you'll see in the background over here, it's updating the list of what it has on its server. And then in the advanced setting, I only have verified selected. Those are the only ones that I want to save. So right here is you're selecting the boxes of the links that you want to save. If you want to keep your identified links or your submitted links, click it, save it, but you're going to build up some huge files. So keep that in mind. I only care about the ones that came back as verified. This setting, save page rank with URLs, that's a personal preference. I just want to know that information. As I study the verified links, I want to also be aware of the page rank. This one down here, get page rank for verified URLs. This only applies if you're planning on filtering what sites you're going to submit links to. And what I mean by that, so if you on your tier 1, you may want to only submit your tier 1 links to sites with a PR of 3 or more. In that case, you want GSA to pull the PR so that it is aware of it. But if you don't plan on doing any kind of filtering, turn that off. It does take additional resources, and if you don't need it, turn it off. So right there is the setting in a nutshell. Go through it, take screenshots of each of the pages we went through, and I highly recommend test it and improve on it. Be better at GSA than I am, and then maybe you come back and teach me, and I'd love to learn what you've learned and what's worked for you. So let's move on to actually building our campaign.
Okay, so here we are, article management. This is a really key feature in GSA that I love using. It has a lot of options in order to get a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to your articles. Basically, the rule of thumb is the better quality the article spin is, the better your links per minute, the better everything will be with your GSA campaign. You have a better chance of getting the index quicker. It's just take the time and money to invest in a good spinner, which I'll talk about in a minute, but for a couple reasons. Number one, if you're posting to Web 2.0 sites, a lot of them have human editors that go out there and just make sure that your articles aren't spun. And if it's very easily detected that it is spun, boom, you're going to lose that Web 2.0. Also, Google has been on a hiring binge for human editors as well. Going out there, checking sites, manually reviewing them, and as you know, if you get a manual penalty from Google, it's tough to recover from. So anyway, the idea here is that you can add articles from numerous sources. My preference is this one, Article Builder, and as a second option, Content Machine. Now, why I have a second option is because sometimes Article Builder, let me come down here to it, its categories and its niches don't always fit what I'm trying to build to. So before you actually go and buy Article Builder, take the time to look at their niches and find out if, actually they're right here, find out if these niches will fit your needs. In my case, I cover a lot of niches, and so for the most part, this does a great job. But every once in a while, I get some crazy-ass client that wants me to talk about something that just I've never even heard of. And that's when I can go in and use other sources such as Content Machine, which works awesome with GSA. So just get started. You click on the Add button, pick your article spinner. In my case, it's Article Builder. You put your credentials in there, and then you simply pick the category you wish to use. So let's say in this one, I want to do Facebook marketing. I want my articles to be roughly 600 words, and I want 10 of them. I want each one of them to be spun, and I simply hit OK. It takes roughly 3 to 4 seconds per article to spin it, and as you can see down here off to the right, This tells me how many articles are being spun, and you can see it's using the spin tags, which I can actually show you what it looks like. So if I want to preview it, and this is the article. So really quickly, it threw up an article about optimizing your company's blah, blah, blah. So very, very cool. Right away, I've already got 10 articles ready to go. Now, in the case you wanted to use Content Machine, so I'm just going to quickly go through here and delete it. Come here, I'm going to add my Content Machine, which I'll have to throw in my API key, so give me a minute and I'm going to go grab that. Okay, so I just quickly threw that into my GSA, the API key, and these are the niches that I've over the last couple months have thrown up onto the cloud. What Content Machine's the cloud. So maybe in this one, I'm going to throw up some a dental. I'm just going to click OK. Now this part takes a little bit of time, and we'll just kind of wait to see how long it takes. Okay, so that took a little over a minute, and it provided me 20 articles basically on the use of dental. Now I know Article Builder could have done that. I just wanted to show you what the Content Machine does. This stuff is a little bit more unique. It's a little bit higher quality. So just kind of mix it up, find out what works best for you. And I can preview it here, kind of show you what one of these looks like. So, I mean, not bad for considering what we're looking for, and it works. Let me close this out. It's important to note that the settings on the rest of this page deal primarily with who you use for your content source. So as an example, you just saw me import my Content Machine. And if you know of Content Machine, you know you can actually add your images, you can add your links, and add your anchor text, stuff like that. And so when I actually preview it already, you should start seeing links, anchors, your time. Let's close this out. So as I was saying, if you use Content Machine to build your articles, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. You can do that all ahead of time in Content Machine. Now, let's go back and quickly delete these. And if you are using Article Builder, it doesn't do any of this for you. And so in this case, let's just do something quick. I want 3 articles, and these don't have any bling to them. They're just text. No links, no images, and that's up to you in these settings below to build that into it. So if we look at these as an example, so as you can see, there you go. There's nothing to it. It's just good quality spun content. Now below, this is where you can set up, similar to how Rank or Content Machine does it, you can set it up here below. So I'm not going to go into detail on how to do this. This is all up to you. Test it. Do what you need. Find out what works for you, whether you use Article Builder or not. Let's move on to email verification. Email, in my opinion, this is really what makes or breaks your GSA campaign. The quality and quantity of your emails is going to really help you build your links per minute and your success in GSA. The kind of golden thumb that I've been taught is use at least 10 unique email addresses for every single project. So when I say project, you see this google.com. There's going to be a list here of all your projects. So for every single one of those projects, use 10 at a minimum of 10 different email addresses. Now the way I handle my email accounts is I actually use a Fiverr gig. The seller that I have been using for the past year or so actually is no longer on Fiverr. So what I would recommend is, let me just pull it up here, is just do a simple search on Fiverr, and basically I've got it, Yahoo email accounts, GSA. Those are kind of the terms I'm looking for. I want someone that knows GSA that can actually send me accounts in the GSA format. So what I'm looking for is obviously someone that is familiar with why I would be buying them. So let's look at this guy. I'm going to do 120 email accounts. you can do a lot with 120. Right away I'm seeing SEO bot, so he's probably pretty familiar with GSA. So what I would do is I actually contact Mugdo and say, hey, can you send these to me in a GSA format so I can quickly import them? If he says yes, $5, buy it every 2 weeks or so. That's how often I'm refreshing my email accounts. As new lists come out, that's when I know to refresh my email accounts. So for an example, for what I do, I have a Dropbox account which is now tied to my dedicated server. I simply go to add, import from file. I'm just going to grab this one right here, and boom, it's going to import 100 counts. Now before I go crazy and start using GSA, I want to make sure that these are working. I'm going to go delete that first one. That was, looks like it already did. Anyway, so let's test it. I'm going to test them all. There might be some bad ones. There should be mostly good ones. So the red indicates that that email account is no longer good. Green means go. So let's find out how bad it is. So each one of those took about a sec, maybe a half a second to take, and out of 100, 2 of them failed, 98 successes, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then I'm just going to go up here and say delete, and the ones that failed the test. So now I have 98 emails to test here. So this is typically not the way I'll do it, but this is a good way. So if you want to import 10 at a time, that's how I would do it. But in the case that I have tons and tons and tons of projects, you can actually select all the projects you want. And actually, let me see if I can do this right now. You know what? This actually gives me an opportunity to actually teach something that I wasn't planning on. But I find it's really important. So based upon what you have selected, where you want your links to be submitted, it brings up information that you need to provide GSA in order for it to do its job. And it's a lot of work going through, putting your anchor text, your how you want your links to be branded, etc. About us, there's just tons and tons of stuff. So the quick and easy way to do that, this again I'm gonna plug for Content Machine, but I can actually go to Tools, Autofill, and go to Content Machine. Now Stephen Floyd does also recommend WAC. I've never used it. I have tried, but never had any success with it. But I've heard a lot of good things about that, so I recommend checking out WAC if Content Machine doesn't work for you or you just want other options. So in this case, I'm going to go Import API, click OK. Basically find the version what I want to pull in. In this case, I want to do maybe web design and hit OK. All right, so once that runs its magic, it's going to ask you, okay, I've collected information for all these categories, these areas that I can post data to. Which ones do you want me to use? Which ones you don't? In my case, I want everything. So I click OK. Okay, so about 2 years later, I now have all my information provided. And everything that I need, it's been customized, and so we are good to go. I'll get into this part later because I do like to customize this per project so that I diversify my link building, and that's it. So let me just click OK. Okay, so now what I wanted to show you, there is a way to auto import emails instead of going into each campaign, because basically what happens in a couple months you may have 60 campaigns. I don't know, for me, I'll easily run over 100 campaigns going all at the same time based upon my clients' needs. So every 2 weeks I replace my emails instead of going into each campaign and deleting emails and doing new ones. You come in here, you can select all, Control A, and then you come into Modify Project, Import, and then Email Accounts from a file. I basically grab my file, there's 100 in here, and then it's going to ask me, do you want to delete all the ones that were previously there? I'm going to say, yeah, that'd be great. So imported 100 items. Now, if there were multiple multiple projects, it would have said, how many emails do you want to use per project? And so if I have a list of 100 emails and I wanted a 10 per project, then I know I could do about 10 projects with all unique emails. So that's how you do it. It's a super cool way to to do a lot of email actions really quick. And then going back into the email settings, some of the things you need to be aware about. This one is very important. This is the time it takes to wait between when GSA logs into an account and when it does it again. Obviously, there are some account providers out there that if you log on too quickly simultaneously, boom, you lost your account. So 900 seconds is a good place to start. Some of the guys on the GSA forum are going to actually recommend going higher on that, but I'm comfortable with 900 seconds, and I do really well with my email accounts for lasting for as how much I'm using GSA. Second one, use proxies. This is a fail-safe, a redundant option, because in your general options you set up if you're going to use proxies. This would just be an additional layer of protection. I don't know if it's an overwrite of the general settings, but it doesn't hurt to have it on. It doesn't hurt to have it off. So play with it. Find out which ones get you better results with your proxies. Now, deleting messages. This is all up to you. If you have a catch-all email account, you probably don't want to use delete all messages. So just kind of play with it. And that's that. This is setting up emails. So the trick is use quality emails. When I first started with GSA, I had an account creator plus application that created Outlook accounts. I think that's what they were. And they were burning out so damn quickly. I actually switched to these paid Yahoo accounts, and they will last weeks and weeks. And it's totally worth the $5 that I spend on them. So that is creating articles, setting them up, and managing your emails.
Okay, let's see how this goes. It's Halloween night, family's home, kids are all high on sugar, so hopefully this background noise won't be too distracting. So this is the last video that I'm going to get out for this course. So let's go over the data settings for your articles. This is going to be unique to each of your projects. So if you do a project on horseback riding, it's going to be different than this one that's currently based on website design. So number one, your URL. This is your target. You can set it to have one URL, or you could actually come in here and add hundreds of them, each one being its own individual target, which works great as long as they're all in the exact same niche. So if you have a website design company, you've built a PBN of 50, 60 domains that are all about website design and stuff like that, then you would want to probably put your PBN all into one project, or into maybe 2 or 3 projects. But this is how you would group it together. But if you were just trying to build up one particular URL, this is how you do it. A couple of things that I use. I do use the clear all, edit all. You can pull from an RSS feed. WordSite, if you just do your domain name /feed, is going to basically allow GSA to pull in the entire websites, every single link as being a potential target. And hence the idea is you're building the PR, well, not the PR, but the PA of every link on the page. So obviously, bad idea. I would never use this on a money site. Don't even let it touch a money site. These are all tier 2 and below sites. So your Web 2.0s, your citations, stuff like that. So yeah, don't be dumb. Don't put it on your money site. So anyway, let's go on. So very first setting that I have is use a random URL. That's always checked no matter what. Next thing, use URL variation. The default, I believe, is 20 on this. I crank it up 100%. As much as often I want every URL to be different. So that's the setting I have it. As far as keywords goes, this was when I went to tools and auto-filled it from GSA. That's how this was populated. Now, if you were scraping your own URLs, the more keywords you have here, the better your scraping will go. It's recommended that if you're scraping, you have at least 10,000 keywords that GSA can pull from. So just keep that in mind. Now, here's the settings that I use. I'm not going to go over the ones I don't use, but use collected keywords from sites. actually should not be checked. I don't do that since I use generic keywords. But so this is how I set up. Now, each one of your projects, you're going to want to customize this section. And how it works out, as far as the percentages goes, you add this line, the partial match anchor text to use citations, add that percentage up, subtract it from 100, and whatever's left, it'll pull from here. So if that makes sense, good. Because I don't want to explain it again. But anyway, take the time when you're doing these to set it up correct. GSA also accepts spin formatting so that you can actually diversify your links even more and get greater results. Same thing with your LSIs. I would highly recommend using spin contents when you're doing this. So break it up. As far as secondary text, I do use branding. I do a lot of generic and just domains and citations. So between these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this one, it needs to add up to 100%. And then my anchor text variation, I'm going to also use 100%. As far as category goes, I lost it. You're going to want to use as many categories as you possibly can that fit the need. This was all pulled in from Content Machine. So, and same with the About Us. Now, the options you have in the data settings are going to be based upon what you have selected here. So based upon your tiers and how you want to set up your campaigns, you're going to be publishing to articles, some of them, some comments, blog comments, and indexers. So as you see, as I add things, the options over here in the data change. To give you some tips on how to set up your where to submit, it's going to depend on the individual campaign and what you're comfortable with. But go in it with a plan. Just don't go crazy, click them all. It's just not worth the risk. So what I've done is on the GSA forums, there are actually a couple people, some of the really well-known experts that have given these structural layouts of how you can set up your different tiers. So for an example, this one is saying your tier 1 contextuals are going to be composed of web point to articles, social networks, and maybe some high quality wikis. And that's so in that case, what I would typically do is I would click on articles, turn off blog comments, web 2.0s, turn off URL shorteners, trackbacks, then go to some wikis, social network, and that would be my tier 1 if I were to follow this guy's suggested structure. And then based upon that, I would need to re-import my Content Machine data just to make sure that it filled in everything that I needed to have. And then if I was doing a tier 2 or a T1A, basically the way you do that, let me quickly show you, I'm just going to ignore that. Ignore that. Basically what this is saying, guys, just so you see this. Now, if I wanted to do a tier 2 to this, I'd come in here, I'd add a new project. Instead of putting URLs in it, I'm going to simply click on use verified URL of another project. And this is going to bring up a list of all your projects. In this case, I've only got one, so I'm going to hit OK. Tools, actually, and let's go back and actually fill it out as this gentleman suggested. So the next one is going to be blog form guestbook images. So blog form guestbook images. Doc sharing, microblogs, wikis, doc sharing, microblogs, wikis, trackbacks, and videos. Wikis, trackbacks, and video. Okay, so this is what he would recommend. You'd be pointing to your tier 2. So it'd be creating links for the tier 1 links. This would be tier A. And then when I click, hopefully I can click OK. No, I'm going to have to provide it some kind of content. So content machine, import API. Let's go back to web design. So the next step, when it comes up, it's going to ask me what it has ready, and then you simply choose what you want. I leave them all checked, and I hit OK, give it to me. And then I'm going to pause the video because this part takes a good minute or two, except for in this case, it took like 2 seconds. Sorry about that. And then when I click OK, it's going to ask me for article content. We want this to be website based, so I think it'd be more in technology web design. There we go. So actually what I could do is I could do something like this. I could go, I want 10 articles that are 800 words around. And once it populates that, I'm going to go back in and actually add a second category to add diversity to the articles that I'm creating. So let's just give this a minute to run. It doesn't take long. It's already halfway there. Okay, 10 articles. Go back here, add another one. This time, maybe let's do WordPress. Yeah, that works. This I'll do 5 just to keep it short. So you can see I can actually build quite a diverse article portfolio. While that's running, okay, so some of the settings I really want to set is, like I just said, I want my link location to be completely random. Some directories only allow you to post 1 link per article, but in the case that you want to try to post more, go ahead and do that. Now this one is basically you're throwing in authority links, wikis, CNN, anything you want. You can actually come in here and build your own authority list that it's going to be pulling from. So that's a good one to throw in there. It does add diversity to your links, so keep that. And the next option, basically, if you want an image, a video, how many, between 0 and 1, 0, 1 video. And here's a cool feature that I love. It's going to only insert one of either or. So you're not stuck with images stacking under videos and just creating a mess. But that's basically it. I'm going to hit OK. It needs a video file. I can actually, since I don't have a video file, I can right click on this and say disable engines that use this. But this would be a great way if you wanted to help promote a YouTube video and get it ranked. So anyway, document, I don't have a document, so I'm going to disable engines that use this. Click OK. And now it's giving me a name. So what I like to do is I'll take the name actually right from here. So I'll keep it at Google because so I know what project that I'm building up, and I'll go tier 1 a kitchen sink, so that I know as I go back and edit and perfect the process, I know where I got this layout from, or the structure, the GSA structure from. And now you can see that all the links that this builds to, tier 2 is actually this tier 1A is going to be building links to those links and so forth. And you just keep on repeating that process until you've got it perfect. And so such as this, according to this, these are what it suggests. So I will actually post this below this video once it's ready so that you have both these guys. These are 2 different, completely separate guys, and their suggestions on how to do that. In fact, on the GSA Online forum, there's several of these. You just got to find one that works for you and that you feel confident in being able to build. So I hope you like these videos. It gives you a good understanding of GSA. Down the line, I'll create some more in-depth ones once you spend a couple months, a year or so working with what I've given you. Look forward to talking to you, and I'll see you soon.
Hey everyone, this is Jason here with Stephen Floyd's class, the Bulletproof SEO. This course I'm going to be focusing on Content Machine. I've already done a couple classes and you may not have gotten to them yet, but they are GSA focused. Now, one of the partner programs for that help you get better results and links per minute is Content Machine. It's a beast in what it can do. The idea behind Content Machine and this maybe video or 2 is I'm going to teach you guys how to generate unique, relevant content for your SEO campaigns. I'm also going to show you how to add images and videos and contextual links. And in addition, you can also control the quality of your content. Maybe for some sites you want higher quality and some you don't. You know, there could be a lot of reasons, but I'm going to show you how to take advantage of Content Machine's features so you can maximize its potential. I'm also going to show you how to import it into GSA so that you can start utilizing its features right away. So first thing I want you to do is, I don't have an affiliate link or anything like that. Just Google Content Machine, and here's the website. It's going to take you to landing page, whatever, it's up right now. And scrolling down to the bottom, you know how SEO guys are. We like to be very wordy in our landing pages for some reason. So I've learned to kind of skip to the nuts and brass. And here is the options. You can buy a monthly subscription for $37 or lifetime license, which I highly recommend. And right here, if you act, I don't know when this ends, but for $217, that's a screaming deal. I mean, I bought my license at $357 over a year ago. So take advantage of this offer at $217. So anyway, get it, grab it, buy it, download it. Now, I run this actually on my machine. This is something you can run on a VPS, and it might be a good idea. But I use it enough to where I don't want it on my dedicated server. So anyway, let's get right into it of how to use this system. I'm going to minimize this browser. So when we open up Content Machine, so this is what it looks like. One of the things, let's go over really quickly. There's a lot more to this than what the home page indicates. I do want you guys to pay attention to this tools section of this application. There's a lot in here that a lot of people seem to forget about. But I want you guys to pay attention to it. Some of the things you can do is generate articles about me, spin words, unspin articles. So there's a lot of things that behind the scenes that it kind of does mini jobs. So don't forget about it and use it whenever it's applicable. So moving on to the second video, I'm going to show you guys how to use this and set up your first SEO campaign with Content Machine. Welcome everyone to the second video on Content Machine for Stephen Floyd's Bulletproof SEO course. Let's get right into it. So where I'm at right now, I've just launched the application. I'm going to click on new. The very first thing, we're right now getting ready to set up our first campaign. So as far as content source, I use the built-in article scraper. But one thing that's really important to understand is get your scraper settings in and taken care of. And what I mean by that is go out there and make sure you're buying quality proxies. Right now I'm running, I buy about 100 proxies a month, really high quality ones that typically only go down every 4 to 6 months. I have to replace them. So they're very good quality proxies, and I do pay a dime for them. And I want you to consider that. So once you get your proxies, you want to load them up in here, test them out, and make sure that they're all running good. I've got probably 90 of them in here, and we are running at 86, so that's not bad. Okay, so as far as campaign name, this helps you organize your campaigns. As you build more and more client campaigns, personal ones, affiliate campaigns, you want your campaign name to be very specific to what it's doing so that as you go back and need to make adjustments, you can quickly find it in your saved or in your blueprints. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So for this first example, a lot of us are going after the dental market. So let's focus on building a dentist campaign. So maybe for this one, my dentist is going to focus on, what would it be? Let's do clear and invisible braces. That's kind of what this guy wants me to focus on. So dental, clear braces. As far as the keywords go, these are ranked by importance and how Content Machine interacts with them. Your main keyword is going to be Content Machine's top priority. And so for this one, let's go with a brand name, something very recognizable, and go with clear, correct braces. Another one is going to be an LSI for the type. then another one could be, maybe a third keyword could be could be something like clear braces cost. As far as the content quality, everything you need to know on the quality is going to be found on the left-hand side of the page. So, take the time, read it, figure out what you want. I find, for me personally, I like the tier 2 content better for what I'm using it for. As far as the spinner, I use Spin Rewriter. That is a separate API that you have to pay for. So basically what you want to do is come down here, either manually spin it, KM Spinner, or Spin Rewriter. Don't go cheap on the Spin Rewriter. That's going to make or break your campaign. I recommend using it. And once you've set up an account, come into the credentials window, throw in your email and API key and test it out. Make sure that it's working. And as you can see, I still have plenty to use today, 267 to use. So anyway, let's keep on going. Content Machine has the ability to embed images and videos into your articles. And you can go two ways about this. As you know, or you will find out, GSA also has this ability. So if you're using Content Machine to build your articles or to create your links, you may want to test it out. Find out which system does a greater variety of videos and images. Is it Content Machine? Is it GSA? So maybe for this one, I'm just going to choose, I want one image or a video in my article. Come down here, click Next. Now, this is where we actually build the links. Again, we can do this in GSA, and it's almost more simpler in GSA. But if you're using programs like RankWiz, this is a good time to get a good platform of keywords and anchor text to use for your links. So basically what you do is you come down here from contextual links. How many contextual links do you want? Obviously, these are the ones that we all go after. We want contextual links, high quality contextual links, and then maybe we want some random body links. So I'm just going to throw in there, and this is where it starts to build my list. So what I'm going to do is for the main keyword, my contextual links, double click it right here, and this is where I throw in my client's domain and maybe a handful of other inner pages that they want to build the page authority. And then I'll come in here and I'll paste in there some. All right, so what I want to do is from here I want to add in multiple inner URLs that I want the client to rank for. And it's one line per URL. And that's how it's going to look. And then as far as the keywords go, you've got a couple options. My favorite way to do it is basically grab it from Google Keyword Planner. Just copy and paste what it gives me. Obviously, I'm going to comb through it to make sure it doesn't give me some crap. In fact, as you saw that, you see these lines and weird stuff. I'm afraid what that's going to do to the article. So I'm going to get rid of it and throw it into Notepad++. So I'm just going to copy, paste it into Notepad++. It's going to strip out all the formatting. Then I'm going to paste it right back in, and it looks good. Okay, now as far as how you want to diversify your links, your anchor text versus your brands, it's all done right here. You just drag and drop what ratio do you want of anchor text versus brands. So in this case, we are going to promote Dr. Floyd's dental practice. And then maybe we'll do probably 5, in a real world example, we're going to do 5 or 6 variations of the brands. Make it as natural as possible because not everyone is going to type in Dr. Floyd's dental practice over and over exactly. So maybe we want to throw in here Dr. Stephen Floyd. Maybe remove the that and then dental clinic. And we just kind of keep on building this list, make it as natural as possible. As far as follows, non-follows, just keep it natural, add some diversity to your link building, and click OK. So those are my main keywords. I got them set up. I've got 800 keywords in there, 2 brands, And as of right now, 4 URLs. Now, as far as my article body links, this is what I consider my authority outbound links. This is where I build those links. And I just simply double click on it. As far as URL goes, I'm actually going to let Content Machine do all the work. I'm going to get links from authority websites. I simply throw in a keyword like dentistry and say, go fetch me my list, boys. And it goes out there, brings me my list of all the keywords, or not keywords, I'm sorry, authority links. But look at this, LA Times, Wiki, the Sunday Times. So this is good stuff. You want these articles in your link building. So definitely throw that in. And then this is what I didn't show you last time. If you don't want to use Google's keyword planner, then let Content Machine do all the work. Say, I want you to suggest keywords for me. So dentistry. Just got to wait a little bit. Just got to think. And here we go. I'm just going to select, I'm going to right click, select all, and then hit OK. Now, at this point, as you can see, my keyword variation, everything starts with dentistry. Well, not everything. Look at that. They're actually improved that. That's good. So maybe you want to actually come in here, suggest some more as something like teeth care. Anyway, you can keep on building your keyword list using different variations and add them to your list. And you can keep on doing that with your URLs. So anyway, I'm going to kind of add some variations to my anchors versus naked URLs, and then some follow to no follow. And there we go. We got our campaign built. It's ready to go. Now we need to tell Content Machine what you want to do with it. So you have a couple options. Number one, as I suggest, once you're happy with it, save it as a blueprint. This tells you that for future campaigns, if you like the format of this, meaning that you like the way that the tier 2 works, spin rewriter works, you're going to use images or a video, you like using one contextual link and one article, basically it'll say this as a template. Then you come down here, save it as a blueprint, and say GSA blueprint. Now I can always use that. I don't have to build this from moving forward. All I have to do is input the unique data that is for that campaign. So anyway, now the actions that we want to look at, the two that I use the most is build and post and send to the cloud. Right now, we're going to focus on send to the cloud. Build and post, that's more for if you're using RankWiz, which we can get into later based upon the demand. So if not, let's just focus on this. So I'm going to click send to the cloud. And then as you notice, it's thinking I'm using the leading article. So at one point it did switch it over. So I'm going to cancel that out, go back to the home page, change this over to the built-in scraper, and go back to next, send to the cloud. Okay, this is the part that takes a long time. It's going out there searching for content, scraping images, videos, and then it spins it all. And it's spinning hundreds and hundreds of articles for you. So you just got to be patient. In fact, I'm going to time it, put the video on pause, and let you know how long it took. Okay, so getting back to this, looking at my clock, it is now 21 minutes later, and Content Machine is completely done finishing the scraping and the spinning. And what it's going to give you is an API key and a campaign ID. You're going to want to use those, copy and paste those into GSA, which I will show you shortly. Okay, so that's it. We are done with Content Machine as far as the GSA goes. So I hope this video has helped you understand how powerful Content Machine is. I want you to take it into consideration when you're deciding whether to buy it or not. When you're using GSA, GSA does a really good job with Article Builder, but you can only spin those articles so much before they're just overblown and overspun, and they start being repeated. Now with Content Machine, the same amount of time, same amount of effort, you're building hundreds and hundreds of articles that is each one is spin syntaxed, so you can even get more and more out of those. In the video, I believe it's video number 3 for articles for my GSA, I do show you how to integrate your content machine into GSA. I hope you've enjoyed these videos. I hope that it makes you more confident when using your building your article campaigns, and I look forward to working with you. I appreciate your time. Look forward to working with you.
Hey guys, this is SEO Floyd again. So the PBN setup section of the course covers starting with fresh PBNs, but no doubt some of you already have a site or sites, and you're probably wondering, well, what the hell do I do now? So that's what this section is for. This is going to be really short, but here's a couple of things that you want to absolutely make sure that you check. So number one, you want to make sure that your whois record is not going to pull up all of your sites. So if you went in and registered all of your sites, then they are all going to have the same whois record, right, when we do a search. So we don't want to do that. So we need to make sure that all of our sites, we come in here to cPanel, okay, and we make sure that we update the contact info, all right? You're going to go in here and just put in the persona, right, that we created, and you can create personas for existing sites if you don't have one, okay? So you want to change this. This is number one. The other thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that your SOA or start of authority record does not reflect something you don't want it to reflect. So let me show you how to change that real quickly. So I've logged into one of my hosting accounts, okay, and I'm going to go here to manage DNS. All right, so I'm going to pull this up, and inside here we're going to see SOA parameters, okay? So what we're going to want to do in here, we're going to hit modify record, right? And we're just going to change it to our persona, okay? So that is going to make sure that somebody doesn't come along, mainly Google, but also other SEOs can use this information to find your networks and to mess with you. So, you know, as an example, this site that I have, and this is one of my throwaway sites, so don't mess with it or anything. Well, you know what? I don't care. If you want to mess with my site, mess with my site. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go to a site here called Into DNS. All right. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in the site, and I'm going to hit report. All right. And what it's going to do, it's going to give me a lot of information, which is cool. What I want you to do is scroll down about halfway, okay? And what you're looking for right here is the SOA record part, okay? And right here it says host master email address. Now see here it says cpanel.webhost. Now this is because of this particular host. They do this on all of theirs, okay? But for a lot of the places, you're going to see that this information is going to be reflected, you know, what you put in. So you want to make sure that you change your whois. You want to make sure you change your DNS SOA record. So this is not going to happen to you. And also, if someone does a whois lookup, that they're not going to find your email address, which they can then use to find all your other sites. Okay, so that's just a couple of things that I wanted to update in case you already had sites. And so again, I want to thank you for watching the training. I hope you're getting a lot of value out of it, and I will see you guys around. Hey guys, this is SEO Floyd, and welcome to section 2 of the PBN Safe setup. So part 1, we went through getting a domain and getting some hosting. So at the very end of part 1, you should have gone into your domain account and set up the name servers to point to your hosting account. So now the next step is going to be to install your website and begin configuration. So I am logged into cPanel, which is going to be on your hosting account. So you're going to log into the back, and you're typically going to click on your domain, the name of your domain, or on cPanel or control panel. It's going to look like different things in different places. But either way, you're going to be able to get to cPanel, and there are several different versions of cPanel, but yours should look somewhat similar to this. So what we're going to do, there are several choices that you can make as to what kind of website you'd like to have. The most common one that we use today for SEO purposes is WordPress, and that's the one that I'm actually going to teach in this section of the course. But I want you to be aware that there are other content management systems that you can use also. They work very similar to WordPress, and it's actually a very good idea to not put all your eggs in one basket. So I highly suggest that while having WordPress sites is great, and that even the majority of your network probably will be on WordPress, that you should definitely have some sites using some other content management systems. So in cPanel, you have a wide variety of choices. So for instance, Joomla is one choice that you can make. Joomla works very similar to WordPress. You'll click on this, go through the installer. It will set up a website for you that you will then configure with content. Another choice is Drupal. Okay, Drupal is also another content management system. Okay, as you go through the cPanel, you're going to find out that there are a ton of different choices that you can make. I actually like to use Moodle, which is meant to teach courses, like if you are a school or a college professor. But it's actually very simple to set up a website using Moodle, and if the theme of your site is education or academics, then this makes a great choice, because that's what a lot of people that have education websites use. Another thing that you can set up is also wikis. Wikis are great. Probably most of you guys are familiar with wikis, so you probably already know what those are. But the point of all this is to tell you that as you go through, the cPanel alone is going to have a bunch of different choices for you, okay? So don't think that your only choice is WordPress. And again, I highly suggest that you mix it up a little bit, okay? But as I stated earlier, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and do WordPress. So I'm in the cPanel, and you will probably have something that looks very similar to this. And Softaculous or Fantastico is typically what it's going to say in here. So what you're looking for in here is either Softaculous or Fantastico. It may have both. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to choose WordPress. And I'm going to then choose Install. Okay, after you choose Install, you're going to be taken to the back-end setup. All the options in here should be fairly straightforward for you to go through. You're going to in here where it says site name, you're going to give it a nice site name, that's appropriate for the site. Site description the same way. Admin username, if you notice, I'm using my persona here. And then password, again, I'm just going to make that consistent. All right. So I'm going to go through here. At this point, I can select a theme, or I can hit install, and I am going to do that in the next step. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit install. Once I do that, it is going to go ahead and set up WordPress for me with the default 2014 WordPress theme installed. Okay, so once I hit that, I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, and then typically the site is going to be live. So after a few minutes, you should be able to go to your site. Now it's not going to look like this. It's going to have the default 2014 WordPress theme, but then we are going to start customizing. Okay, so once we go back to our site, there's a few things that we're going to do. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to choose a theme for our site. So in appearance, we're going to go to themes, and then we are going to choose add new, and then we're going to go here to feature filter. All right, so all of your sites do not need to be laid out the exact same way. All right, so make sure that you vary this a little bit. But one of the things that, a couple of things that we do want to look for, I do like sticky post, because that means that I can make one post and it can stay on the home page. I do like front page posting. There's a couple of different things you can choose in here. Also the columns, typically the more simple the better. So for this one, I'm just going to choose a one column theme, and I'm going to do one that I'm going to choose sticky post. Okay, so I'm going to apply these filters, and WordPress is going to go out and look for some themes for me. Okay, so what I'm looking for, the most important thing is I need to make sure that my theme is going to allow me to have links on the home page. So as you look through the screen here, you can see some links live in some of these, like this one, for instance. If you look here, it's going to allow, you see it allows links on the front page. So this one would be a good choice for us to use, okay? A good basic one. So if I chose this one, I would click install, all right? And then that would put it on there for me, all right? This theme is already installed here, so I'm not going to do that. But just make sure that you get a nice, simple, clean theme that allows you to have post links on the home page. Now, another option that you can choose that I highly suggest is while using free themes is a really good part of your strategy, you probably will want to get purchase some premium themes also. So you can make some sites that have some more features and look a little bit better. There's a couple of ways you can go for that. There's Ink Themes. There's Elegant Themes. Okay, those are two different companies. Those are both companies that allow you to pay a one-time fee or an annual fee, and then you're going to have access to dozens or more of different premium themes. Okay. And the good thing about that is, one thing about WordPress is each theme kind of works a little bit differently. So if you make a subscription to something like Ink Themes or Elegant Themes, then you can learn kind of how their themes work. Okay, so again, don't make your entire blog network full of just Elegant Themes or just Ink Themes. All right, but having them as part of your strategy is good. So again, to kind of reiterate at this point, if we've got 20 sites in our network, it's a good idea that we have, a couple of, one or more maybe Joomla sites, one or more Drupal sites, maybe a wiki site, okay, some other CMS besides WordPress, all right? 3, 4, 5 out of the 20 at least should be not WordPress. And then out of the remaining that are WordPress, make 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them free themes, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And then you can fill the rest with Ink Themes or Elegant Themes or things like that, okay? The key here, as far as not getting caught by Google, is to mix things up, all right? You don't want to leave what we call a footprint, meaning that there's an easy pattern for Google to find. So like using the same theme every time is a pattern for Google to find, okay? So that's what we're trying to avoid. So once we have a nice theme picked out, then we are going to go through and we are going to adjust some settings. Okay, after you choose install, you're going to be taken to the back-end setup. All the options in here should be fairly straightforward for you to go through. You're going to, in here where it says site name, you're going to give it a nice site name, that's appropriate for the site description the same way. Admin username, if you notice, I'm using my persona here. And then password, again, I'm just going to make that consistent. All right. So I'm going to go through here. At this point, I can select a theme or I can hit install, and I am going to do that in the next step. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit install. Once I do that, it is going to go ahead and set up WordPress for me with the default 2014 WordPress theme installed. Okay, so once I hit that, I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, and then typically the site is going to be live. So after a few minutes, you should be able to go to your site. Now it's not going to look like this. It's going to have the default 2014 WordPress theme. But then we are going to start customizing. Okay? So once we go back to our site, there's a few things that we're going to do. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to choose a theme for our site. So in appearance, we're going to go to themes, and then we are going to choose add new, and then we're going to go here to feature filter. All right, so all of your sites do not need to be laid out the exact same way. All right, so make sure that you vary this a little bit. But a couple of things that we do want to look for, I do like sticky post because that means that I can make one post and it can stay on the home page. I do like front page posting. There's a couple of different things you can choose in here. Also the columns, typically the more simple the better. So for this one, I'm just going to choose a one column theme, and I'm going to do one that I'm going to choose sticky post. Okay, so I'm going to apply these filters, and WordPress is going to go out and look for some themes for me. Okay, so what I'm looking for, the most important thing is I need to make sure that my theme is going to allow me to have links on the home page. So as you look through the screen here, you can see some links live in some of these, like this one, for instance. If you look here, it's going to allow, you see it allows links on the front page. So this one would be a good choice for us to use, okay? A good basic one. So if I chose this one, I would click install, all right, and then that would put it on there for me. All right, this theme is already installed here, so I'm not going to do that. But just make sure that you get a nice, simple, clean theme that allows you to have post links on the home page. Now, another option that you can choose that I highly suggest is while using free themes is a really good part of your strategy, you probably will want to get purchase some premium themes also. So you can make some sites that have some more features and look a little bit better. There's a couple of ways you can go for that. There's Ink Themes. There's Elegant Themes. Okay, those are two different companies. Those are both companies that allow you to pay a one-time fee or an annual fee, and then you're going to have access to dozens or more of different premium themes. Okay. And the good thing about that is, one thing about WordPress is each theme kind of works a little bit differently. So if you make a subscription to something like Ink Themes or Elegant Themes, then you can learn kind of how their themes work. Okay, so again, don't make your entire blog network full of just Elegant Themes or just Ink Themes. All right, but having them as part of your strategy is good. So again, to kind of reiterate at this point, if we've got 20 sites in our network, it's a good idea that we have, a couple of, one or more maybe Joomla sites, one or more Drupal sites, maybe a wiki site, okay, some other CMS besides WordPress, all right? 3, 4, 5 out of the 20 at least should be not WordPress. And then out of the remaining that are WordPress, make 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them free themes, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And then you can fill the rest with Ink Themes or Elegant Themes or things like that, okay? The key here, as far as not getting caught by Google, is to mix things up, all right? You don't want to leave what we call a footprint, meaning that there's an easy pattern for Google to find. So like using the same theme every time is a pattern for Google to find, okay? So that's what we're trying to avoid. So once we have a nice theme picked out, then we are going to go through and we are going to adjust some settings. Hey guys, so in this section what we're going to do is we are going to change some settings in WordPress just to make your sites, your network sites, a little bit better for you. Okay, so we're going to go through a couple of sections here really fast. So the first place we're going to go is to Settings in General. And we want to make sure in here that we have a nice site title, a nice tagline. Okay, the next place that we're going to go is to Reading. And in here, you're going to choose whether or not you want to use posts or you want to use pages. There's reasons to do either, so it's really your personal preference which one you choose. But either way, blog pages show at most X number of posts. So you want to make sure, if you're using posts, that this is set to the correct number, so all your articles with links are going to show. Also in here, you want to make sure that full text is chosen, okay? Because otherwise, you're going to get the little read more box, which means that your link in most cases is not going to be displayed, okay? So the next section that we're going to go to is Discussion. And since these are network sites, we don't want discussion on them, okay? So we're going to go through and we are going to want to put comment must be manually approved, okay? So we want to check that box, okay? And that's going to make it where there's going to be a huge queue. If it becomes an issue, then you can put something on there to to fight the spam. It's normally not an issue on network sites, but if it is, there's Akismet and there's other plugins that you can do to combat that. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we want to go down here to permalinks. And for most of your sites, what you're going to want is post name, okay? So if you write an article and it's, the top 5 ways to sell something, right? Maybe it's a sales site. Then, what you'd like is yourdomain.com / the name of the article, okay? So that's what you're going to want in most cases. And so make sure that's set. If it's not, go ahead and hit Save Changes down here, okay? The next thing that we're going to do, a lot of the themes, if they're free themes, they are going to have links in a footer, and so we don't need that link juice going out from our site. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to Appearance, and then we're going to go down to Editor, and then we're going to come across here to Footer, And this theme doesn't have that in there, but if it did, you would see a hyperlink in here, okay? And so if you see a hyperlink in here, you can just delete out the link, or you can just delete out all of this text altogether and then hit update file, okay? And then it's going to remove the footer. Now, if you have a hacked theme, when you do this, it may kill the theme, okay? So, you know, use real themes, guys. Either buy them, or if you're using the, quote, free ones for WordPress, usually you're pretty good. You're only going to run into issues if you're trying to use, you know, hacked themes. So I definitely would not suggest that. On this section, the only other thing that I want to make sure that y'all know about, we're going to go in here to customize. And there's lots of settings in here, but this under here is going to say what, you know, is on the front page, whether it's posts or a page. So you want to make sure that this is set up the way that you want it. If you're using posts, obviously, then it's going to be like right here, your latest post. If you'd like to go with a static page, then obviously you're going to choose a static page, okay? So just make sure that's in there. There's multiple places in WordPress, depending on your theme, that do the same thing. So you want to make sure that, you know, if something's you know, not working, that you look in kind of a couple of places, okay? Because individual themes are going to have different settings, but the things I just went through with you should be universal regardless of which WordPress theme you're using, okay? And so the last thing that I want to show you here, and this is going to be related to later, is that you want to make sure that you set up categories and tags, okay? And so as you look here, you're going to see like some of my categories: advertising agencies, branding strategy, sales and marketing, okay? This is going to be important for the theming of your site. We're going to talk more about that in another video, but you want to make sure that when you're building these sites, that these are not just colossal generic sites, okay? You want to make sure that they're themed. You want to make sure that there's some logical categories here, okay? So if you're not familiar with WordPress, when you make a new post, it's going to allow you to choose a category. And if you choose that category, then all of the posts that you make will not only appear on their own page, but they'll also appear on the category page for the category, okay? And this is a very natural kind of thing that WordPress does. And so you want to make sure that you have, you know, I have 3 on this site. I would tell you that 3 would be a minimum, okay? If you have a logical niche, then you probably have more like 5 to 6, okay? But 3 is a minimum, all right? And we're going to work more with this later. Okay, so that is it for the back end stuff. The next section we will be talking about plugins. Hey guys, okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is plugins. If you're not familiar with WordPress, a plugin is simply an add-on to WordPress. It is a piece of software that allows you to do something more than the basic WordPress. Some plugins are free, a lot of them are, and some of them have a cost associated with them. So let me show the ones that I'm going to want you to use on most of your sites. Now, you do need to vary things up, okay? Don't have the exact same plugins on every site. For pretty much every plugin that I show you today, there are alternative plugins, okay? And then there's also ways that you can do it without using plugins, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. So the first one that I'd like to add is going to be an SEO quote plugin, all right? You have several choices for that. There's All-in-One SEO, there's Yoast SEO, there's also probably a dozen more that are just as good, okay? So I'm not promoting this particular one. It's just the one I want to show you today. So the one I chose is All-in-One SEO. And in case you're not familiar with WordPress, you're going to start off by going to Plugins, and then you're going to click on Add New. And then this little handy dandy search engine window is going to appear here, okay? And so all of the plugins that we do today, all of them can be found by looking in Search Plugins, all right? So let's go back to All-in-One. We're going to go to General Settings. All right, so a couple of things that we want to absolutely make sure that canonical URLs is checked, and that simply means that site pages are going to be forwarded properly. I'm going to go down here. I also want to make sure that in this section under the title settings, the default for this is going to be that pages and posts, if you see here, it's going to be page title and blog title. So that means that if the page, you call it Dallas SEO, okay, if that's the name of the page, but the name of the blog is Dallas SEO blog, then that means it's going to show Dallas SEO and then Dallas SEO blog, okay? So you typically don't want that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, and I am going to just take out this little % here. Okay, so what that's going to do is your page titles are going to be your page titles. All right, so if you write a page and it's called About Us, then when you look in your browser, the page is simply going to be called About Us. It's not going to be About Us and then the name of your blog. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on posts. Okay, I don't want that in posts either. All right, so simply remove that out. Okay, so now my posts additionally are just going to be the name of the post. All right, so I'm going to go back down here a little ways, and I want to make sure that use no index for categories and tags as well. Okay, so what's going to happen if you don't use this is that if you write a post and you tag that post with a certain tag or a certain category, then what's going to happen is that you actually can have the same page competing with another page on your site. Okay, so you don't want that. There's different strategies where you may want to leave this alone, but for a PBN site, we don't want there to be any confusion about which page is about what. Okay, so we'll leave this like it is. The rest of the settings in here are good, so when we're done, we're just going to hit Update Options. Okay, so the next one that I want to cover is going to be called Theme Authenticity Checker. All right. And Theme Authenticity Checker is a free WordPress plugin, and you're going to want to use this on your, quote, free themes that you get, okay? And so I'm going to go in here after you've installed it, and again, you're going to find it just like you did, you know, the other ones. I'm sorry, it's in Appearance. So under Appearance, you're going to go here to TAC, Theme Authenticity Checker, okay? And it's going to check out your themes for you. Okay, and what it's looking for is mainly it's looking for malware, but also it can find hidden links and things like that. Okay, so this is highly recommended if you are using, you know, free themes, especially if they're not provided by, you know, like WordPress. I mean, if you're using 2014 theme provided by WordPress, you don't need to use Theme Authenticity Checker, okay? But if you just find some random theme on some random site, then you definitely want to do this, okay? And it's just going to make sure that your site is safe. A lot of people will provide, quote, free themes, and they've got links in them, or they've got malware and other things. So this is a quick and easy way to make sure that you're good. Now, once this is done, you can take this off, okay? So if you know you found the theme you want and you're positive, throw this on, check it, and then you can remove it, okay? There's not a whole lot of overhead, but there's no reason to keep things we don't need. All right, so the next one we're going to use is going to be Link Juice Keeper. All right, and I'm not going to go through the setup of that, but again, when you go to plugins, you're just going to type in Link Juice Keeper, and what that's going to do is it's going to make sure that any links that come to your site that are find a 404 page, meaning that let's say that someone linked to a specific article on the site before you bought it, and that article no longer exists. What Link Juice Keeper is going to do is it's going to take that link and it's going to point it to your homepage. Okay, so all it's doing is just making sure that the link juice that you want is coming to the right place. All right, so that's an easy one. Get that on there. The next one we're going to talk about is related posts. Now again, there's multiple things that we can do with this. Okay, there's multiple different ones. One that I like to use a lot is SEO Smart Links. Okay, and so what it's going to do, you need to set this up, and you need to set up in here. You want to make sure that max links is low, 1 to 3. Okay, you want to make sure also that you want to use categories and maybe tags. Okay, so and this definitely want to put this as 1. The rest of the settings for this are default, so you're good. Okay, so I'm going to go over kind of what this does in a minute, but just throw this in and kind of do those tweaks I just showed you. All right, so the last one I want to cover is a Spider Spanker plugin. It's a very popular plugin, and what it does is it is going to hide your PBN site from all of the spiders and bots that backlink aggregators use, like Majestic SEO and Moz. Okay, so the reason that we're doing this is so our competitors cannot see our sites, cannot see our backlinks. Okay, so we could have a much longer conversation about that, but basically, you want to use a plugin like Spider Spanker. You can also use different files like htaccess to block these spiders. But basically, your site, once it's up, there's going to be all of these bots and spiders that come to your site. And if you do not block them, then number one, they will take away system resources, which means that if you're using cheap hosting, your account can actually get banned. And number two, it means that if another SEO is looking at your money site, he may be able to see your private blog sites. And if so, then he could, report you to Google, and things like that. So you definitely want to use something to do that. So either like an htaccess file, which is something you do by hand, or a great, software like SpiderSpanker. Okay, so the setup and configuration for SpiderSpanker, the maker of that, Todd, does a great job on his site with FAQs and stuff. So I'm not going to cover that. Okay, the last one that I want to talk about today is a simple XML sitemap. Okay, and whichever one you use, it doesn't really matter. There's several ones. Okay, you just want to make sure you want to have one on there. Okay, you want to make sure that Google knows about it, when you update your settings and update your site. Okay, this is going to help you get indexed. So as far as the back end goes, as far as plugins go, the main thing is that you want to just mix things up. Okay, like I told you, any plugin that I just showed you, there's an alternative plugin or there's an alternative method. So don't have all your sites do the same exact thing. Okay, mix it up and keep it safe. If you're not using WordPress, there will be similar applications like this for the other content management systems we talked about, like Joomla and Drupal and stuff like that. Okay, and you'll see on here I also have select sociable plugin. I like to have social plugins on all of my network sites. You can experiment and find which ones you like, but again, when we go over the live site in the next video, we'll talk about some of these things. Okay, so as far as the plugins go, that's going to be it, and I will see you in the next training. Hey guys, okay, so we have set up the back end, and so now I want to show you some things kind of on the front end. All right, so one of the keys to keeping your PBN sites safe is to mimic what real sites do, okay, or mimic what natural sites do. All right, and so some of the things I'm going to suggest to you are some customization options that you can have done fairly cheaply online in places like Fiverr. Okay, so let me go over a couple of these things. So my comp site again, this lindemanrcc.com, you see a nice custom header here. Okay, this is a nice custom WordPress header. You can get this on Fiverr for $5. Okay, if you have any skills at all with Photoshop, you can also make one of these fairly quickly. All right, so this is something that's real nice, and this is something that real sites do. Okay, don't make some ugly blog looking thing and expect it to do well. All right, so this is a thing. Now as we scroll down here, we're gonna see that we've got our nice category pages here. Okay, got a nice looking little menu here. All right, got our posts on the front page. Okay, and as you load down here, we've also got our legal pages. Okay, and this is something that you want to make sure that you have. All right, you need to have about us, you need to have contact us. All right, you need to have these terms and conditions, privacy policy. All right, you need to have these. All right, so you can either go online and Google, like privacy policy, terms and conditions, disclaimer, and then just use what they're using. Just do a find and replace in Word and put your the name of your business in. Or there's also some plugins that you can use to generate these pages. Okay, it doesn't really matter if there's duplicate content on those pages, because Google's already said that they're not looking for that on pages like terms and conditions and privacy policy. Okay, because that's just something kind of standard that we all use. All right, so those pages are not going to be looked at for that. All right, so again, I'm not saying that this site is going to win any awards for design. Okay, that's not what we're shooting for. What we're shooting for is real. All right, so if you were to come across this site, you would probably think that this is a real site, run by a real person. All right, and that's what we're going for. So I've got some widgets on here. All right, and widgets are things that you can set up in WordPress. All right, so like there is a calendar widget, and it's very easy to set that up. That's beyond the scope of this training, but you can find that in 10 seconds with a quick search on Google. Widget setup. Also, here's a map widget. All right. Another thing I like to do on my sites is to have an RSS feed. Okay, and again, this is just a widget. All right, so it's super simple to set these things up. But what they're going to do is they're just going to add a lot of authenticity to the site. Okay, and so as you go to each page, So let's go to the first page here. All right, so this is the first article. All right, and so what I want you to notice here, you see where it says advertising agencies. Do you see how that's linked in, but it's linked back to another page on the site? Okay, this is that plugin, that SEO related post plugin. All right, and what this does is it's very natural for inner pages of a site to go back to the home page of the site. Okay, and that is a trust factor and a ranking factor. It actually will help the link juice flow through your site. Okay, so that's what that plugin does. It puts these links through here. All right, so let me go back to the home page. What I have done also, as you look across some images, if you highlight across this image, you'll see that I've linked out to a site called presstalent.com, and that's just because it's a site that's related to this niche. And the way that I've done that is by simply alt tagging this image. Okay, so when you're in WordPress and you pull open this image, there's going to be a little control panel that opens up in the details, and it's going to allow you to put what you would like for this to be called. Okay, and so I leave it blank, but this is a link. All right, so you can use this for one of two things. These image links can be links to your site, your money site, right? The ones we're trying to rank for, and they work great. Okay, they also can be part of your outbound authority links. Okay, so part of what we're going to do on our pages is we want Google to think that, you know, we are related to other blogs, other websites that are in the same niche that we are. So this is a website about marketing, okay? And so we are going to link out to authority sites in here that have to do with marketing. Now, more or less as a joke here, on this page, on the home page, let me go back. Let me go back to the home page real quick. More or less as a joke, I linked out to Google AdWords here. Okay, don't link out to Google AdWords. All right, this page is no indexed. All right, so it's no one's ever gonna see this except you guys. But what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to find other high authority sites in the niche and link out to them logically. Okay, so you can simply go to Google and you can type in, you know, your niche and see who's on the front page. All right, you can link out to Wikipedia, which is what a lot of people like to do. You can link out to news sites. Okay, just look and see who's on the front page. You know, so for this, you know, this is a marketing site. So, you know, I'm going to type in marketing. All right, and let's see what we find. Wow, shocker, a Wikipedia article. There's entrepreneur.com, okay, Forbes, the AMA, right? Okay, so we see all these, you know, Entrepreneur again, New York Times, Marketing Profs, marketing.org, okay? These are all great places to outbound link to. And you know that Google loves them as relevant for this keyword because they're on page 1, okay? So that's how you're going to find your outbound authority links, okay? So again, your links can be actual links, contextual links here, or they can be image links, all right, like the one here, okay? So as far as linking out, you know, there's different strategies that you can employ, you know, but typically you're going to want to have, you know, normally no more than about 3 from one site going back to your money site. Okay. So a good strategy to use would be to have, you know, one link going to, from this page to the home page of the money site that you're trying to rank. And then maybe, you know, an image link, and then maybe another link going to an inner page on the site that you're trying to rank. Okay, so again, there's lots of strategies for that. Feel free to ask in the Facebook group about the various things about this. But again, just remember, we're trying to keep it real. Okay, we're trying to keep it real. Oh, one last thing. When I go in here, so I'm going to go to this post. You'll see these social sharing things here. Okay. Again, this is a trust factor. This is really good. You know, this is kind of something that Google wants to see, okay? When you go over here to the, you know, basically the contact us page, right? I have an actual contact form, okay? And remember, you know, when we set up these, this persona, we want it to be consistent across all that we do. So remember, you know, this persona we have is, you know, associated with this domain. So let's go ahead on the About Us page or the Contact Us page, whichever one. Let's go ahead and make sure that it's there. Okay. So, you know, Google, if it goes and it looks up the who is information for the website who registered it, they're going to see Robert Bonner. If they figure out who is hosting it, it's Robert Bonner. The WordPress author account, guess what again? It's Robert Bonner. And if we go to the contact forms, once again, Robert Bonner. Okay, these things are all consistent. This is a huge trust factor, and this is going to help keep this site safe. Okay, and so that's it, guys, for this part. So, just remember, try to do what real sites do. Try to look good, spend a little bit of money. This header here you can have done for $5 on Fiverr. Okay, so it's not a lot of cost, to have some extra stuff done. All right, so that's it for this section. Thank you for your time. All right, guys, so in the last section I talked about some things. I talked about alt tagging some images, and I talked about some widgets, and I thought about it again, and I thought, you know what, you guys, some of you are probably not going to know how to do that. So instead of making you run out to Google and search, I'm just going to go ahead and show you real quick. All right, so the first one I'm going to do for widgets, I'm going to go across to Appearance, and then I'm going to go to Widgets. All right, and the widgets are going to be all over here, okay? And there's all different ones you can choose from, okay? And they're based on the theme, all right? And what you're going to do is basically the ones that you want to use are going to drag over here, okay? So you have the primary and then the footer, okay? Different themes are going to have different ones, all right? But for example, when you look at this theme, if you look over here at the primary widget, the sidebar login, right? Here's the sharing one, right? You literally just put the content in here and click save, okay? And so that's pretty easy. Now, on this site, mostly what I was talking about was the secondary widget area, which you see I have a calendar, I have a Google Maps, and I have an RSS, okay? So this calendar here is, and I have to give it a name and then hit save, okay? But when I drag the Google Calendar widget over here onto this, all I have to do is put in the name and hit save, and then I'm going to have that nice calendar like I showed you on the home page. Same thing with the Google Maps widget. All I had to do was find it over here, drag it over here, and drop it. When I do, it's going to ask for an address. And of course, this address is where my persona is at, right? This is the actual place, okay? And again, all you're going to do is hit save, okay? And then the last one, an RSS. In case you're not familiar with what an RSS is basically like a feed of posts from another site, okay? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go find a very large site that's relevant. You can use one of the sites that you linked out to in the authority linking, and then you're going to subscribe to their RSS feed, okay? So at the very top of the page, typically they're going to have something, and it's going to give you the feed. So I tell you what, let me just go ahead and do that really quick. So you can see that, and that is going to be, let's go to here, let's go to marketing. All right, and let's see, let's do entrepreneur. So when I go to entrepreneur, all right, so you see they've got lots of cool stuff in here, right? And a lot of this is related to marketing, okay? So all we need to do here is go through and find the feed. And when we look down here, you'll see how it says RSS, right? All right, all you need to do, click on the RSS, all right? And then you will just copy this, okay? And you'll copy this, and then when we go back to our site, you're going to paste it right in here, okay? And then you're going to hit save, all right? And then what that's going to do, like we talked about, is it's going to have that nice feed of relative content going to your site, okay? So that is how you add a widget. All right, so in an RSS feed. Okay, guys, so we covered widgets, and now we're going to do, the other thing I mentioned was alt text images, okay? So again, you can use images for links, all right? So I'm going to go over here to post, all posts. I'm going to choose this post here, which is the sticky. All right, so now you see this image here. All right, when I click on it once, I'm going to get the little edit icon here, okay? I'm going to click on that. And now this is going to allow me to edit this image, all right? So here where it says alternative text, this is what the image is going to say, right? So this would be your anchor text link, okay? So you could make it say your money keywords, you could make it say a related keyword term, or you could just leave it blank, okay? Depends on how you're using this particular link. All right, so you're going to fill out what you would like in here. And then you're going to go where it says link to, all right, and then when you choose custom URL, you're going to put wherever you want it to link to, okay? So this will be to your money site, all right? And so once you do that and you hit update, then you will have another link going to your money site, okay? So that was pretty quick, and I just wanted to go ahead and do that for you guys because I know that we have some beginners probably in here, so I didn't want you to have to go outside and look for this information. All right, so thank you again. The next portion that we move on to is going to be stuff after our site is live. All right, so we'll see you in the next video. Okay, guys, now we have our site set up all the way. And it's ready to go. So then this section, what I'm going to go over is just a couple of strategies that you can use to add a little bit of power to your PBN sites. Okay, remember that the power of your PBN site really is based on the backlinks that are coming to it. So that's why picking the right domain is so important. You already want to have a site that has some decent power so it can flow through to your money sites. All right, but here's a couple of little tweaks I want to show you real fast just to add a little bit onto that. All right, just so you can get a little bit more value. So one quick easy technique that you can use is to go ahead and build upon the links that are already coming to the site. Okay, so that's a good way to start off. All right, so I'm going to open up this site in Majestic SEO, and when I do, I'm going to go to the backlinks section here. Okay, and this is going to show me some backlinks. All right, and so like this one has some pretty decent ones. All right, and these are set up by TrustFlow, you know, 39, 30, 27, you know, pretty good, right? Some of these, well, some of them suck. All right, so what we're going to do is, so I'll use these two as an example, right? These two are pretty good, and so what we want to do is we want to build some backlinks to these. All right, and so that link juice will flow through to our site. All right, so it's a really easy way to do it. I'm not going to go into the specific techniques of how to do it. You can use whatever you'd like for that. You know, basically safe links, right? I'm not talking about just hitting it with some spam tool, you know, but your you know, your Web 2.0 links, your wiki links, you know, stuff like that. You know, if done right, you can shoot them to this site, you know, and the link juice can flow through to your site. All right, so that's an easy way to do that. That's one technique that you can use. Another technique that you can use that I like is to do some blog commenting. Okay, and this is manual blog commenting. All right, so you know, remember we've set up our persona here, right? So we've got Mr. Bonner here. Okay, so he's already logged in. Okay, and so what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to go to a website called dropmylink.com. And what this does is this basically just takes advanced Google search operators and it puts it into a handy dandy drop down box. Okay, so you can do this by hand if you want to mess with typing in things like in URL : / in parentheses blah 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 blah, right? Or you can simply go here. Okay, so we will go and we're going to find, so we're looking for marketing. All right, so let's type in marketing. And there's lots of choices in here that you can choose. You see edu blogs, government blogs. Okay, there's a lot of great ones in here. The only one I would kind of avoid right now is Skidoo lenses because they're pretty much dead. Hub Pages bought them. So one of the ones that I really like to use is intense debate blogs. All right, so I'm going to put in marketing, or I could put in sales or advertising or anything related to my man and my site. Right. All right, I'm going to hit search. Now I have the Google Quake plugin installed. Okay, and so you know, you're going to see some settings here. All right, I'm sorry, not Google Quake, SEO Quake. All right, it's a plugin you can get. I'm pretty sure it works in every browser. All right, so what's going to happen is it's going to show you some stats here. Okay, so like this site is PR0, this site's PR3. Okay, before anybody starts clobbering me, another 3. Before anyone starts clobbering me about PR, it's an easy way to look at some authority. Okay, and so for purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to use PR. All right, so I'm looking here at a site called widerfunnel.com, and let's see, I'm going to go here and just kind of see what we find. So you know, we have a PR3 website with a little over 1,000 indexed pages. All right, looks pretty good. And it looks like we've got a nice debate going on here about responsive design. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through here and I'm going to look through this article. All right, I'm going to actually read it, right? And then when I'm done, I'm going to make an intelligent comment on here, okay? So I'm not just going to, put some dumb comment like, great article, okay? Because if it's moderated, it's going to get, banned, all right? It's going to get killed, the comment. So what I'm going to do here, as you see here, there's already 11 comments. And so, I'm going to go to the bottom here, post a new comment. All right, one thing I want you to notice, guys, I'm already logged in, right, through WordPress. So it already sees me, Robert Bonner 15, all right? So I'm already logged in. If I was not logged in, then I'd want to get logged in, okay, before I can make this. All right, so I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to type, in an intelligent comment about something. I'm not going to do it live on this call, okay, guys, but I'm going to type in an intelligent comment based upon, the article, and then I'm going to drop an anchor text link in here, okay? And that anchor text link is going to be, going back to my my PBN site, okay? So, I would use like a brand link, right? And when you post in here, you're going to have to do a code link. You can't just drop. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to use the actual HTML, okay? And so I don't have that handy, but you can Google that or just ask in Facebook. But it's basically, you can't just write, the comment. You're going to have to put, href, :/ in quotes, right? Okay. So if you're not sure how to do an anchor text link in HTML, again, just Google it real quick or look in the code, all right? So in here, I'm going to write out a nice comment that's related to this topic, okay? Then I'm going to drop my link in there, then I'm going to hit submit, okay? And as long as my comment is related, okay, and as long as my link isn't super spammy, then what's going to happen is normally these are going to get immediately approved. So if you look here, you see this one was put in here, and there's their link, right? That's an anchor text link going, right back to their site, okay? And that's what this is going to look like for you, okay? So you can do these, you can knock out one of these about every 5 minutes probably. Go through a couple of different settings over here and drop my link. Spend an hour, or have an outsourcer do it. And build 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 of these things. All right. One thing that it'll do is it'll give some nice, more backlinks directly to your site, which is going to flow through to your real site, which is the whole point of this. But also, it's going to give some freshness to your link profile. Okay. So it could be that you bought this expired domain and it hasn't gotten any links in a while. Doing this is going to help it get some fresh links. Okay. So that's something good that you're going to want to do. All right, so there's a couple of things that you can do to start your PBN off on the right foot. So this is going to be the last video in this training. I hope that you've learned a lot. I hope that you found the training to be valuable. I will be in the Facebook group doing coaching for the course. So if any of this stuff is not clear or if you need more information, feel free to ask, and I'm sure that we will be able to help you out. But again, I'd like to thank you for your time and attention during this training, and I'll see you guys online. Hey guys, this is SEO Floyd, and I'd like to welcome you to step 1 of our safe PBN setup for Source Phoenix. So what we're going to be talking about today is the steps in order that you will take in order to set up your private blog network sites so that they will be not only effective, but that they will be safe from Google. So Google will not find your sites and kill them. I have outlined the steps for each process in this document, and I'm going to show a few of them to you on this call live. Be sure if you have any questions to refer to the Facebook group for the coaching. So step number 1 is that you will need a unique email account. There's several ways that you can get this. You can make one and just go to Yahoo or go to Gmail or wherever. If you're going to be doing this in low volume, then that would be fine. You can just register these accounts that way. If you're going to do them in bulk though, however, you're going to want to probably purchase them. There's several places you can purchase email accounts. The easiest and quickest one is going to be to simply go to Fiverr, our good buddy Fiverr.com, and in the search field type in email accounts. And when you type in email accounts, then it will bring up a bunch of different options here. And so I will 100 new email accounts in a few hours. I will provide 700 Nokia human emulated. I will manually create 10 PVA. I will create for you UO35 real, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So there's dozens of places to buy these in here. So if you're going to do it in bulk, that's what you're going to want to do. Step one, you're going to get yourself some email accounts. When you buy these in bulk, they are going to come to you in a spreadsheet with a username and password. So that can be the basis for your tracking for this whole project. All right, so that's the step that we're going to start with, which is getting an email account. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to go to a website called fakenamegenerator.com, and we're going to use this to create a persona that is going to persist throughout the rest of our creation. So fakenamegenerator.com, it's a free site. If you'd like to do these in bulk and download them, however, you do need to do the free registration. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to go through here, these options, and you're going to choose where you would like your persona to be from. So you can choose city, state, you can choose country. So wherever your client is based or wherever your website is going to be based, you want it to match this. You want it to be, somewhat close geographically. So after you have put in your variables, it's going to spit out something that looks like this. And it's going to have a name, and it's going to have an address, it's going to have a phone number, it's going to have all kinds of information in here. All right, so this is what you're going to use to start the process with. And again, if you download these, it'll be in a nice spreadsheet for you. So up to this point, we have an email address, and now we have a name, an address, a phone number, some more information that we need to create this fake person with. Okay, so those are steps 1 and 2. Be sure if you're doing this outside of the U.S. that the geography matches correctly. If you're in the U.S., it's fairly accurate. If you choose, say, Dallas, Texas, then it's typically going to give you a Dallas, Texas zip code and address, and the phone number, even the fake one, actually matches. It works 90-something% of the time. But once you get outside of the United States, there may be some issues. So if you are not operating inside the U.S., make sure that you do a visual, using Google Maps or similar to make sure that the address matches up. Okay? So that's what we want that to do. All right, so now that we have that information, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go register a domain. And the important thing is we're going to register the domain with the email account that we've created. Okay, we want that email account to match. Hey guys, all right, so the next step in the process is going to be registering your domain. I'm not going to go through that step by step. I think that process is fairly simple, and you guys probably already know how to register a domain. But as far as the course is concerned, there are 2 basic options. You can either choose to register the domain with the fake information that you created from Fake Name Generator. That's one option. There will be several things that you'll need to verify, which is no big deal. You can verify those things. You'll verify the email, for instance. The other option is to have sort of a master account, and that's how I do most of my accounts. So I will have a GoDaddy account, and it may have 30, 40, 50 domains in it. Google does not have access to who owns that account with GoDaddy. Only GoDaddy has access to that information. What Google does have access to as a registrar is the registration information. So what I will do, I will log into my account at GoDaddy, one of my accounts, and then I will purchase the domain using that account, and then I will simply edit the contact information. So my sample site that I'm going to be showing you throughout this training, this is lindemanrcc.com. It's one of the sites that I own, and I'm using it just for this training. It serves no other purpose. So what I've done in GoDaddy, once you're logged into the back end, you'll click on domains, and then you'll click on the domain itself to get to this control panel. Okay, so this is your domain details. Once you're in here, you'll actually start on this screen, which is settings. All you'll need to do is click on the contacts, And then in this area, you're going to put the information that you created from fake name generator. Okay. Once that's done and you save on this to come out, it is going to send you an email wanting you to verify the email address here. Okay. So when it does that, that's fine. Go ahead and verify that. If it also thinks that something looks funny on the account, then it will also want another step of verification. In that case, it's verifying you as the account owner. You simply need to respond to that verification request, telling them that you are a GoDaddy customer, here is some of your information, and that you have registered this on behalf of a client. And that's exactly what this is for. Exactly why this exists. This is the contact information. So basically what you're telling Google is, what you're telling GoDaddy is that this is the person who's in charge of this account. Basically you're just managing it for them, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's the next step in the process. The step is very similar for all of the registrars. The control panel may look different. You may have to email support if you're using one of the smaller ones to help update some of this information, but this is how it's going to look for most of them. All right, so that's step 2. Registration, you're going to want to make sure that you go through all of the different steps to verify. So when you change or add or remove this information, make sure that you already have that email account open, and so you can quickly go ahead and verify the information. All right. Another option that you could use is you could use domain privacy, and domain privacy is simply where the information that normally would be displayed here is going to be hidden, and that's going to be hidden, including Google cannot see this information. If you choose to go this route, I would use a service like Namecheap to register their domain because they offer free domain privacy. If you use a service like GoDaddy, they're going to charge you for that annually. It's somewhere between $5 and $10 for that. Also, you want to make sure if you're using domain privacy that it only represents a small percentage of the sites you're using in your network. Okay, having a few of them with domain privacy is perfectly fine, looks perfectly natural. What you don't want is you don't want to have all of your sites with domain privacy. That's not going to look natural, and that's definitely going to set off a flag. Okay, so up to this point, we should have our email account, we should have our persona, and we should now own a domain, and it should be all verified and registered. So now the next step is to get us a hosting account. So back to our instruction sheet here, we're going to do the hosting very similar to the way that we did the domain registration. You're going to go to a hosting company. Again, you can choose one of the larger ones like GoDaddy or HostGator, Host9, something like that. Those are all good choices. You can choose one of those. You're going to use the information the same way like you would for the registrar. You're going to use the information that you created to set up this account. Once you do this, again, you're probably going to have to verify using the email. And again, that's perfectly fine. A second option, just like I mentioned for this training, is that you can have, a master account, let's say, in, 4 or 5 of the larger ones, hosting wise. And so you could then do the same process like I showed you here. It's going to look a little bit different though. So one of the things that you're going to do is you're going to need to go, once you have your hosting account, you're going to need to log into the back end, and you're going to access the cPanel. And cPanel is always yourdomain.com/cPanel. That's where you would log in, or you can log in directly through the back end of your host. Once you're inside, it's going to look something like this. There's different versions, but it'll look something like this. And usually somewhere toward the top is going to be this button here that says Update Contact Info. So you're going to update contact info, and if you used the fake information to register the account, then this information is already in here. All right. If you didn't, or if it's a hosting account you had prior, then all you need to do is go ahead and put in the fake information. Okay. And so when you pay for this account, you want to use PayPal, just like we did in GoDaddy, because the PayPal account is not public information, so it's not tied to your purchases. So when I make my domain and my hosting purchases using GoDaddy, that information is not correlated together. So it's perfectly safe to do that. Other options, if you are paranoid, would be to use disposable credit cards. Okay, that's another good option. All right, so now up to this point, you should have the email, you should have the fake persona, you should have a domain, you should have hosting. All right, so the next step that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to set up the actual website. So the next and final pre-step process is going to be that you will need to take the name server information from your hosting account and add it to your registrar account, so your domain will know where it's hosted. I will show in GoDaddy, if you're using GoDaddy for the registrar, then right in here you'll see name servers, okay? And you're going to just put these in here. If you did not use GoDaddy, your registrar should have a very similar purpose. It will say the domain, and it will say, set up name servers, name server information. And all you'll need to do is take the information that your hosting account provided and put it in here, okay? You're going to need to do that and have that point. Sometimes it's instantaneous, and sometimes it's going to take a while. But once the registrar is pointing your new domain to your new hosting account, then it will be live on the internet, and then we can go to the next step. So that is going to be it for our pre-site setup. Again, be sure if you have any questions about this setup to ask in the Facebook group. Thank you for listening, and please continue on to the next part, which is going to be on-page setup.